Hello and welcome to episode 20 of DC Mass on NCR. I'm your host, Ben Dupay, and one of the creators of NCR, Brad, is also one of the creators. So is Josh and so is Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so...
What's up, planet Earth?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Question mark? Time.
So, this week, we are going back in time. We actually just recorded the episode and realized I didn't record the intro yet, so I'm going to record an intro. First thing I want to let you know is we are having a contest for iTunes reviews. So if you give us a review on iTunes, we are partial to those 5-star reviews. If you give us a review on iTunes, you're entered into a contest to win a t-shirt that says Indie Comics on it. My boy Dexter Jacobs made that. It's from his show Indie Comic Ninja, which is our sister podcast. And then you're also entered into a chance to win a combination Batman and Joker Funko Pop figure that was an exclusive from Loot Crate. Now, I do want to tell you, once you give us an iTunes review, please email me at nerdchurchradio@gmail.com to confirm. I think someone gave us a 5-star review, and I don't know if they didn't write words in it yet, or if it just hasn't showed up on iTunes yet, but I have no way of knowing who gave that if they don't write words in it. So just email me and let me know that you gave us a review. Now, if you've already given us an iTunes review, just give our sister podcast, Indie Comic Ninja, an iTunes review, and that channel is a lot like this one, except we talk about indie comics on that one. So just give that one. If you give both podcasts a review, then you're entered into the contest twice. So, you know, pretty good deal. We're going to have an iTunes review contest every month where we give away stuff. We also have a weekly show we do called Sunday School, where we continue the conversation about one of the characters in the books that week. This week we are going to be talking about the relevance of Green Arrow. So if you want to find out more about that and donating to our cause, you can do so at patreon.com/nerdchurchradio. And other than that, I'm going to send you off to the intro, and let's get the show started.
In a world where there are too many comic books to keep up with, one podcast has the stones to bring you all of your comic book needs, week by week, book by book, one epic show. You are now tuned in to Nerd Church Radio.
Okay, cool.
And we've been recording for the last 25 minutes.
Yeah. So thanks for joining into us. No, I didn't refer to that. All right. So welcome to episode number 20.
2-0.
The big 2-0. This is one more week and we can drink.
What?
Like,
21? Okay.
21.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
You guys long enough. Yeah. So, welcome to episode 21 of DC Mass on NCR. I'm your host, Ben Dupay.
Bradley Buchanan.
Josh Aldini.
Travis Roseberry.
And we are your cold Midwestern comic book overlords this week.
Yeah.
Slightly frozen.
Slightly frozen. Very frozen. It's so
Starting
cold.
to thaw out, though.
Yeah, my car died on me this morning. Like,
What?
I didn't let it warm up. Like, I just
Yeah.
started it, and I got to the stop sign right there, and it died at the stop sign. It started right back up, but,
Right.
you know, I think it's just the cold weather. It was
did
like
you-
-1 degree out.
Did you pull the whole up? Can't go to work. Gonna have to call in. Hey, I'm not gonna make it. My car died.
Yeah, no, I did that before I drove out. That was for different reasons, but yeah. My wife is not feeling well right now, so yeah, I was kind of hanging out with her doing the sick thing today. So yeah, how's everyone been this week? I feel like I haven't talked to you guys a lot this week. So how, other than
Pretty
you,
good.
Brad?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's been
Brad-
good. It's been good.
Brad and I talk every
day.
Every day. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
And so
Yeah, we're
adorable.
besties.
That's right.
Yep. So seriously,
Our jobs are just that much fun.
Yeah.
Oh God, so
Heard
much
that.
fun. I
Heard
just love
that.
it so much. Yeah. So, Travis, how was your week this week?
Pretty good week. It
Yeah.
went by fairly quick. We're on baby watch right now, so Junior's on his way here
Oh,
the next
yeah.
2 to 3 weeks. So
Yep,
hopefully
Travis.
everything's on track. So.
Travis, for the listeners, is expecting a young boy,
Yep.
correct? Yep. So that's awesome. Do you guys have a name picked out yet?
Dude,
Yep.
I can't wait to meet Lex.
I thought it was Max. Lord.
Nope. Max Lord. Yeah, he's got a little bloody nose.
Max Lord Roseberry.
I
Yeah.
told you if your nose is bleeding, Max, stop picking it or pick it more.
So what are you naming him?
And we're not saying.
Not saying.
Yeah,
Oh
we're
man,
keeping it
tightly
wraps,
under
yeah.
wraps.
All
Yeah.
right.
Wow, that's cool, man.
I wanted to name him Kent,
Right?
and Marissa's like, "No, I like Clark better." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I love you,"
Oh man, that's awesome.
yeah.
but we did not go with that.
I was going to say, so did you just spoil everything right there?
No.
Oh.
Nope.
No, but we are a spoiler cast. So.
That's true.
That is
We are
true,
a
and
spoiler
yes,
cast.
that's a nice segue. What are we going to be doing with the books this week, Josh?
We're going to be spoiling some awesome comics.
We are going to be spoiling all the awesome comics. I haven't warned people in the last couple weeks. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. But yes, we are going to be spoiling all the plot beats, character developments, and storyline twists from the DC comic books that were released on January 4th in this episode. So be on the lookout for that. Josh, how was your week this week?
It was good. Stayed
Yeah.
busy. I've been working outside a lot, so it's just sparing the elements, trying to stay alive. You know, it makes me feel pretty manly. I kind of like it. It's like a challenge every day just for survival.
So
I can master everything.
yeah. So Josh, for the listeners, works at like landscaping, and then they do snow removal in the winter, correct?
We do all kinds of stuff, but I mean, Central Iowa Dirt Works, pretty much the name says it all. Anything involving dirt or moving dirt or digging into dirt, we kind of handle that.
One could say we could even call you Joe Dirt, correct?
Or just really dirty.
Josh,
I mean,
Josh
you
Dirt.
could, but I mean, I'd probably go with more so, you know, the shoveler from Mystery Men. I
There
think
you
that's
go.
a little more
Okay.
fitting. 'Cause
No, I'm gonna start calling.
I
you,
do a lot of shoveling.
I'm gonna start calling you Josh Dirt now.
Josh Dirt.
Yeah,
It's
I gotta get it.
It's dirty.
I'm gonna have to grow a sweet mullet.
yeah, you need to, man. So what do you guys do like now when it's like freezing cold out, but there's no snow? What do you do?
We kind of do what we can, but like we're building some big walls with some big stone this time around, so the hard ground makes it kind of easier to work with.
That's
So
cool.
we do it's a lot of machine work. So it's like, I mean, during the summertime, if we're doing something in someone's yard, we just tear it up, you know, as we're building. But
Yeah.
this kind of helps keep the work area pretty clean, pretty nice. But we're still able to work somewhat through it. But
Who's paying for those walls?
the customers,
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Americans.
I'm sorry. Taxpayers, right? No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
No.
kind of,
Kinda.
they are taxpayers, but
Yeah. That's what they're doing. Brad, how was your week this week?
It was pretty good. Busy day today. Worked. Got off work. Drove hour and a half to pick up my daughter.
Yeah.
Drove an hour and a half back. Picked up my
Super
other
dad.
daughter at her boyfriend's house. Went home. Dropped kids off. And came here.
How's the boyfriend thing going with
He's a
with
good
the
guy.
daughter?
He's a good kid. He's a good kid.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah. I
everybody puts on a front, Brad.
Yeah.
Just remember, kid, he's
No.
not afraid of going back to prison.
right.
Well-
Well, he's done a few things that have. I can't say I don't like him. He's seems like a good kid.
That's
I don't
good.
know him very well. I've only talked to him a few times. It's always not my wife. I will say that for Christmas he gave my wife and the kid a chocolate bar or whatever. I didn't get crap.
Oh.
Rookie
I know.
move.
You can't forget the father-in-law,
I know,
potential
right?
father-in-law.
Yeah.
Well, and
Well,
then
let's not. Go there. Okay,
Too soon?
she's only 14.
Too
Don't
soon?
have her
Too
married off yet.
father-in-law, Yeah.
Right?
That was a big jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And
seeing
then-
if you're listening.
And
Right.
then there was that weak handshake that happened. you
Yeah.
know, in the first meeting. It's hard to forget that. But
Right. He had good eye contact though. So.
Good eye contact. Yeah, that works.
good.
Then. Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, kids are good. Wife's good. She's
Yeah.
been sick, so
Yeah.
trying
I
to get
hear
my
that.
house clean. One more Christmas next weekend, and
Dang.
One more
huh?
Christmas next weekend.
So you guys
Yeah.
haven't even transitioned past Christmas yet, dude. I was like, next day I was like, yeah, Christmas is over.
Yeah, I know.
Woo, now just 2 more crappy cold months and then on to spring.
Yeah.
well, this one
Right.
is with my grandpa and grandma. So
yeah.
it's just like everybody gets together, and it's just easier to schedule that stuff like a few weeks after Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody's so busy anymore.
Yeah, so it'll be fun.
That's cool. Yeah, Christmas is gone for me. I was ready for it. So
Yeah. What about you, man? How's your week?
I was good. It was really good actually. I'm interviewing for like a graphic design job right now, which I'm not interviewing yet, but I should be next week, so I'm excited about that. That's what I'm going to school for. So it'll be kind of cool to have an opportunity to maybe get into the design stuff for a living.
Right.
So I did an internship there a while back, so that's pretty cool. What else? We did the Tuesday show with Noah and Justin, and we talked about Justice League Suicide Squad, and specifically like the villain team in there. So that was pretty cool. I always come out of those conversations with those guys like learning a little more about comics history. And then actually next week we're going to be starting the History of Comics show. It starts on Tuesday of next week, so that's going to be replacing our Focus episode. So yeah,
out of everything that you learned about those villains, who do you like the most and why?
Oh man, I think Johnny Sorrow is my favorite, and it's because of the fact that he doesn't have a corporeal body, and there's some mystery around the fact that if he takes his mask off, you die if you see it. So it's pretty interesting,
He sounds like a crazy interesting character.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And the big reveal in this week's book was these villains were the first Suicide Squad ever, and that's not in continuity anywhere. This is new. Them saying that.
So
we were talking about how does Waller
control that?
Because back when the first Suicide Squad existed, they didn't have bombs in their necks. They had a bracelet on that had a bomb in it or something. But he doesn't have a wrist. He doesn't have a corporeal body. So how do you But the wall has her ways. So.
But he
Josh
doesn't
knows
have
all about it.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't have a body, but he wears a mask.
Well, he wears clothes and he's just air and that's it. And he has a mask that just floats there. Well, you've seen it.
I know.
In the books.
It's just kind of weird.
Yeah. No, he's I don't know. He was the cool one.
But Justice League Suicide Squad is freaking amazing.
Yes, it is, and I'm actually really excited to talk about that one with you guys. I kind of double dipped on that one this week. I did it on the Tuesday show, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit on this show. I didn't even write a recap for it. I just thought we could talk about it a little bit. So before we get into much, I do want to give some shout outs. First off, Andrew Schutz gave us a Patreon pledge. He pledged some money to us on our Patreon, and as advertised on our site. If you do that, we give you a shout out on the show. So this is me shouting you out, Andrew. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andrew.
You are awesome.
Way to go, Big Shoots.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. That made me.
You even get a pun from the pun master.
Yeah. So I was actually having kind of a crappy day, up until that point, and I got that email notification. And it just made my day. I was stoked. So, and then another listener, Paco Gonzalez, sent us. He sent me a text, and because we'd emailed back and forth, and my phone number's at the bottom of my email signature. But he had wanted us to discuss something on air with him, which I think I texted this to you guys.
Yep.
But in his email, he said there is a March 4th issue crossover between Action Comics and Superman. And he wants to hear if we have any expectation of what it means for Rebirth as a whole, or if that's where they'll reveal who Mr. Oz is, or anything like that. So I don't know. I was just going to throw that out to you guys and see if you had any thoughts about that. Anything?
I think so. I actually think that's right on. It's time. They gotta do it.
Well, I think we all know Mr. Oz.
Right.
Or we have a very strong inkling that Mr. Oz is Ozymandias from Watchmen.
Yeah.
I think that's who he is. And we talked a little bit... I forget who brought it. May have been you, Travis, that brought this up. But in Batman Detective Comics, Tim Drake escaped his cell and was transported by blue light back into his cell.
Yep.
And my initial thought was that's Dr. Manhattan. Right. But Travis had mentioned that, at the end of the Watchmen movie, Ozymandias had figured out how to replicate those sort of powers or whatever. That's how he killed that big group of politicians or whatever they were.
Scientists, yeah.
Yeah. So, So I don't know. I think that he's working, and actually there is a point in Rebirth where they've said his name, Ozymandias. I think it was in DC Universe Rebirth #1.
Well, tell me this. Let's recap what we know about both Superman and Action Comics. What's going on in both of those story titles? So far in Superman, we've just been focusing on Superman as a father, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And then we've also been focusing in Action Comics on the action side of Superman, his son, and then the total way out there world-ending kind of things.
Yeah.
So do you think this crossover is more down to earth, or do you think it's the over large picture of this who Mr. Oz is? I don't understand if it has anything to do with like this week's Superman, because we get a picture of a person's hand stroking the rabbit at the end.
Right.
We don't know who it is, but is it going to tie in? I don't know. Right now, I got to be honest, I have no clue. I hope it's something to do with the big picture. I want to know, is it Mr. Oz or
Ozymandias. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tongue-tied today. And I kind of want to see that it's our other instigator is the big blue guy himself. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan.
I don't think Dr. Manhattan is going to surface in a Superman book. I think that's going to be a very special event that he resurfaces in.
Think so?
I think the first time you see Dr. Manhattan, it's going to be a very intentional thing where it's like big double splash page, Dr. Manhattan, big reveal.
Now, did you see that? Did you see that Jeff Johns is going to be writing again? And I don't know if it was theorized or if they came out and said it, that he's going to be writing Watchmen. So Watchmen is coming for sure. And to be honest,
Is that confirmed 100%?
I don't think it's confirmed because
Okay.
I found it I saw an article and I read it. I don't remember where it was from. I don't remember if it was just a fan theory or something like that. But it makes sense. I mean, Johns has said that he is going to come back and write for more Rebirth.
It just seems like such a bold choice to say we're going to actually do another Watchmen comic. I mean, I get like including them in Rebirth, and that was a bold choice in itself, but actually doing another Watchmen book,
I think you have to.
whew, I don't know, man. That seems like pretty... because Watchmen was very different and self-contained, and so like throwing him into the DC universe is one thing. To me, I don't know.
It's like making a bad sequel movie.
Yeah, like Alan Moore never meant for there to be a sequel to that. So to try and carry it, I guess it just to me depends on what fashion you do that in. You know, if you.
What do you think about it, Josh?
It has to be story driven. Yeah, Josh, what are your thoughts on them doing another Watchmen book?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you guys because of what I know of Watchmen. It's always just stood alone. But, I mean, they are tying it into the DC. So my initial thought, as you guys were just discussing, is what if they happen to do a Watchmen run, but they do it in a way to where they show how the Watchmen and Dr. Manhattan started all this or something.
See, that's
But I
my
don't know if they would jump right to that because that would kind of spoil basically everything they're building up. But that's kind of what I was thinking is what if they started something but then just wrote in how the Watchmen came into the DC.
See, that's my thought too. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're fine.
That's my thought too. As long as you're connecting Watchmen to the DC universe and you're not trying to make it a solo Watchmen story,
Right.
because
Go away from that.
or like a sequel to Watchmen. That's something that never needs to be done again because it was never intended to be done. You know.
Well, I mean, I think that there has to be some type of explanation on how they get from point A to point B.
Oh yeah, I agree with you
And
there.
I think that the only thing they can do, whether it's an ongoing series or just a mini series,
Yeah.
should be done. Something needs to happen with Watchmen. They can't just show up and be like, "Hey, we're here," because everybody wants them there. But they got to explain a little.
Yeah, I agree. Getting back to Paco's question, in terms of Superman and Action Comics crossing over, I don't think that we're going to get a ton of like DC Rebirth questions answered. I think if we do get something answered, it's going to be who is Mr. Oz and what's the story behind him. Really, that's the only thing that's been touched on to my knowledge and memory in the Superman and Action Comics stories was just, Mr. Oz. I don't know of
Yeah.
anything else they've touched on in Superman and Action Comics on the larger story. So
Yeah, works.
Just that and the whole mystery behind who Lex Luthor is really going to turn out to be, a hero or a bad guy or what. So
yeah, and
Yeah,
that there is potential for them to go into Lex Luthor and kind of what happened after the Darkseid War with him and how he came to be and what his future holds and stuff like that. That could certainly be something they touch on.
And technically, Darkseid is back and alive, and we haven't seen him since he's been brought back. So
Yeah.
what we left off in 52 was Lex took on part of his power, took over Apocalypse, got his super suit on Apocalypse and his shield. Then he was brought back to Earth, and he lost the power. Darkseid was reborn, and then I can't remember exactly how it happened, but he was then Darkseid and Grail were transported back to Apocalypse, and we don't know what happened. All the people on Apocalypse, or the slaves or whatever you want to call them, they were all, serving Lex at that time, and then, the big bad main man himself comes back. So maybe it'll have something to do with that. Maybe Darkseid will come out of the middle of nowhere, but
Yeah.
I have a
too
thought,
far
though.
away.
Yeah, what's up, Josh?
The new Superman, the Chinese Superman, is that run ending?
I do not know, actually. I don't know if that's been renewed or not.
I thought you were
haven't
talking
seen
about it,
in
but
a
I didn't
little
know if
while.
it was confirmed or not, if that was ending or what.
Yeah, you said
Well,
a
no,
while
we-
ago they were thinking about it just because of sales were down or something.
See, I
So
read
yeah,
that too.
they weren't thinking about it. That was an article that I read that was just basically saying some guy was writing an article saying, here's what I think is on the chopping block because
Gotcha.
these are the titles that the sales are low on.
Yeah.
Now he didn't. There's
Let
no
us
one at
wildly speculate.
Yeah, there was no one at DC that said these titles are on the chopping block. I mean, Wonder Woman was in that list, and
Yeah.
we all know that Rucka and Wonder Woman aren't going anywhere anytime soon. You know, but
Gotcha.
that just means sales
Yeah.
are down. I don't think that title is going to get canceled, especially with Rucka. I think he's been doing a bang up job. So, all right, cool. So we are like 20 minutes in. Good work on killing
Yay.
time, guys. That's what I'm best at is killing time. Just ask my boss.
That's true.
Yeah. It is true. Thanks,
It's
Brad.
true.
Thanks for that.
Hey, I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, hopefully she isn't listening to this. Anyway, we will kick things off here. I'm going to start things off with Cyborg number 8. Story. And no, first off, did anyone else read Cyborg number 8?
I did
did.
not.
I did not.
So me and Josh read it. So we'll have some good conversation on it.
Yes, screw you guys.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll see you later. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
You guys can go take a break. We'll call you back when
We're
we're ready
going
for
to
you.
go grab a beer.
Yeah. So Cyborg number 8, story by John Semper Jr., art by Paul Pelletier and Will Conrad. So Cyborg saves Exy, which I don't know who Exy is. He's a young African-American fellow. But he saves him from some abusive cops and convinces him to break into Star Labs. Which this is all a bit confusing at the beginning because at the end of last issue, Cyborg was deactivated.
Yep.
And didn't he just find out that his dad was a cyborg-ish type guy?
Evil robot, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So Cyborg and Exy pass through some crazy obstacles, including robotic piranhas that patrol the vents at Star Labs, which is just totally awesome. And I want to be my next tattoo because it's just like evil robot piranhas that patrol vents.
I
It's great.
like how once they
Freaking sharks with laser beams.
fall immediately out of the vent, they just deactivate because they're just like smart piranhas that only stay alive within the vents. Did you catch that?
Yeah,
When
yeah.
as soon as they fall out, they deactivate so they don't harm anyone.
Yeah, that was great.
You have metal chomping piranhas in the vents in case someone's in
Yeah.
there. Like, what the heck?
Need some poison gas too, just to make it even more interesting. So Cyborg and Exy arrive at their destination, which is a room where Cyborg wants Exy to break into this door that's locked. Which why can't Cyborg do this himself? So they get into the room.
It's a test, you see. It's a
yeah,
test.
it's a test. He's testing.
He's testing the security system.
Yeah. So they get into this room, and there's this big thing with a tarp over it. And Cyborg tells Exy to pull the tarp off. So Exy pulls the tarp off of this object, and it's revealed that this is the real Cyborg that's been deactivated sitting in this chair. And Cyborg explains to Exy that he's not really Cyborg. He's a hologram that Cyborg created in case he was ever deactivated. And there's this little orb that's been floating around projecting the image of Cyborg and telling this kid what to do. So it makes sense that he can't touch anything or control anything because he's actually just a hologram.
Yep.
Yeah, and the kid was so impressed with the hologram that he didn't even notice the little flying orb. It's one of those because comics things that's like, yeah, okay.
Right.
Did you catch the significance as to why he picked this kid, though?
No, I did not.
Yeah, this kid's he's like a hacker villain, thief guy. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that's why Cyborg targeted him, because he needed him to break in.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, and the guy was really savvy with tech and stuff, so it was pretty interesting.
I like the Doc Ock scene.
The Doc Ock scene?
Yeah, the Doc Ock.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that in just a sec. So the Cyborg is reactivated by Exy, right? And finds out that his boom tube abilities and his quote lasers have been disabled.
Beams.
Yeah. And so then the evil Cyborg's father comes in and is like, "You're not going anywhere." And Cyborg's still super strong, so they escape that room and they decide, him and Exy, and he's got Exy riding on his back, Yoda style,
I could be a backpack while you run.
Yeah. So then they decide they're going to leave Star Labs, but first they have to save Variant because he needs his girlfriend back, So just as they're about to escape with Variant, Cyborg's fake father shows up again in the room and stops them, and then reveals that Cyborg's real father created him, and his name is Otac, or OTAC.
Otac, yeah.
Yeah, and do you know anything about this?
It's written in the same format, logo, and everything as OMAC, the Brother Eye that Batman created. That then, do you know about the Brother Eye?
I do not.
Okay, so Batman in, I don't know even what year it was, maybe early 2000s, there was a story run where Batman was paranoid about all the other things going on Earth, and he created this satellite out in space that watched everything on Earth, and it knew everything about every superhero, and it was basically artificial intelligence.
Okay.
And then I believe, don't quote me here, but he kind of shut it down. He's like, yeah, I don't need to be watching these people. They're my friends. And anyways, it powered itself back up, and it became OMAC. It created this virus type thing.
Okay.
And they used the flu shot or an influenza shot or whatever. And OMAC, or I'm sorry, Brother Eye transmitted this digital virus into everybody's flu shot. So when they get injected, this little tiny particle would go inside of them, these nanobots, and then at this one point in time, Brother Eye turned those on, and these people turned into OMACs, these robotic people, and they started flooding the Earth. And this all ties in with, I think it is called Infinite Crisis.
Okay.
Yes, because Final Crisis is...
There's Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then there's Infinite Crisis.
yeah.
And that's the one that Jeff Johns wrote, I believe.
Yes.
Yep.
It gets tied into that. You'll see all these blue robots with this big reddish eye thing and kind of like a mohawk.
Oh, wow.
That's OMAC. So I assume it has something to do with that because it's the same logo and the same font as OMAC. So,
dude, I searched for a while trying to figure out what OTAC was, and I couldn't find nothing on it.
yeah, I did too.
I was curious about that.
As I was reading through the other issues, I can't remember which one, but I believe Waller mentions OTAC in one of these other issues.
Really?
Oh.
I believe so. I saw it pop up in I think it was one of these issues as I was reading through everything. I think.
So, Josh, let me ask you.
It would have been Justice League then. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a quick question. So, Waller has mentioned OTAC, and you don't like the wall, but you're building a wall. I just
That is
you
a
do what you
bizarre
got to do to get
connection,
paid,
sir.
right? You do what you got to do to get paid.
And there was actually some social commentary in this issue in the first.
Yeah, I said that, Travis.
That's insane.
There was actually some social commentary in this issue in the first 2 pages. So these 2 cops they were causing problems earlier in Cyborg. They're like, this kid, what's his name again? Exy is running from him. He was stealing something.
Yep.
And they get him, and he's not resisting arrest. And these cops are like, no, we're going to beat the crap out of you and cripple you so you can't run from us again. And the cop says, what does he say? He says, it's just our way of making the streets safer and making America great again.
Yep.
No need to thank us, pal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, like, pretty pointed comment by the writer, you know, whether you are into that or not. But it's, like, you know, it's kind of crazy that,
Right.
I don't know, and you actually see a lot of that stuff. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you
wonder if it's
saw
gonna die down.
Hillary show up in the Green
Yeah,
Arrow
Green Arrow.
comic. And to me, it's like, I mean, whether I side with that or not, I don't go to comics for that type of stuff, so it's a little bit
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever. It kind of
It's-
just goes over my head. But when you
Yeah.
brought that wall thing up, I remembered it because it was the first book I read this week. But getting past that, the issue was good. The artwork was definitely my favorite part of the issue.
Oh, yeah.
Great characterization, super highly rendered artwork, very realistic looking. So I dig that. Kind of called back to like almost Jim Lee good level. I mean, I wouldn't say Travis is rolling his eyes here. Yeah, I would not say Jim Lee good, but very well rendered artwork. Maybe I shouldn't have said Jim Lee.
Question
I'll
for
rescind
you.
that.
Quit saying his name.
Jim Lee.
If you say it more than 4 times, they'll show up. Wait, say it. Say it again.
Question.
What's up, Josh?
So, in the last issue, or maybe the issue before that, Variant betrayed Cyborg.
Right?
But then did she get betrayed? Is that how she got like knocked out too? Or did they even explain that?
Yeah, so they eventually made it back from wherever they were. You know, they were doing their espionage, and the people at Star Labs were like, "We're going to deactivate her because she was a traitor." And Cyborg tried to fight it, but they were like, "No, dude, she's a traitor. We're deactivating
That's
her."
okay. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
And so he's giving her a second chance.
yeah, he is. He wants to
What a
save her.
guy.
Maybe
What a guy.
maybe it was that whole new world thing they had going on.
New world.
Don't you dare close your eyes. All right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
sorry.
Nice line.
So my least favorite part about this book and this series so far has been the text heaviness of it all.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's a very text heavy book. The whole thing at the beginning with the cops arresting Exy, it just took way too long. There was way too much narrative, way too much text. I felt like that could have been executed without as much text, and it would have been paced a lot better. I feel like. So, but overall, you know, it was pretty good narrative. It's just there were some text-heavy parts that kind of slowed it down for me. And that's when you see pacing issues. You're just like, there's times when a book starts to drag a little bit, and you're like, that's like pacing issues to me. But overall, you know, I still think it was a good issue. We do have a rating system here where we rate and review our comic books. So let me play that for you so you understand what I am talking about.
If a comic book is bad, we rate it as blasphemy. If the book is good, we give our blessing. If the book is not bad, not good, but just kind of meh, we rate it as stuck in purgatory. If the book is great, we rate it as holy. And if a comic book exceeds all standards of awesomeness, we rate that book as salvation.
All right, and that being said, I would have to give this story a high blessing. I think it was
Agreed.
Yeah, maybe
that.
even a strong blessing. I think it was a good book. I don't think it was great. I think it was just good. Josh, what would you rate this one?
The same. I mean, it was kind of like a filler setup issue, but like I mean, it was the art that saved it for me. There was a lot of really good art in this. Like Brad was saying, the Doc Ock scene.
Oh, we never addressed that, by the way. What?
Yeah, that's right.
What Brad meant by the Doc Ock scene was Cyborg's fake father shoots like these tentacles out, Doc Ock looking things, and captures the kid. So sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there, Josh.
No, you're good. So I mean, I thought the art was really good compared to some of the previous issues as we discussed. This one I thought was like way up there, like you were saying, just very good art, very detailed, and I don't know, it wasn't a bad. It was kind of like they had the throwback to the previous issue where Cyborg saves, you know, just this kid who's in the wrong place at the wrong time, you know, due to all the hate in the world and all that kind of crap. So, I mean, it was a filler episode, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible.
Cool.
So is this kid going to become a new person in the whole Cyborg storyline?
Unclear right now. But
Yeah. I'm thinking he's going to be like that other kid was. He's just going to pop in and out.
Okay.
Just like a random
Blue.
random occurrence. No, Blue
gonna
was the
kinda
older
be like-
guy.
Yeah, Blue's the jazz.
But he's saying
But,
like he'll
yeah.
be like Blue, kind of like
Yep.
a little side character.
Yep.
Yeah,
Kind of like Duke.
yeah, which he shouldn't be, but you know.
Does he have a name yet?
I,
Okay.
That I know
Speaking
of.
of Duke, we were talking about Batman, and like we'll get into Batman later, but like Gotham Girl is like dead by now. Like I mean, he's been looking for a cure for a while, and I was talking with some people on Twitter about it, and they mentioned like Gotham Girl should be dead by now. And I was like, yeah, he's just gonna come to the Batcave, and it's gonna be like a skeleton with like a half-eaten peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and Batman is gonna be like, oh, whoops, sorry, Gotham Girl. I got a little busy with Catwoman there for a while. Why aren't you saving Gotham Girl? Why are you hanging out with Selena? All right,
It's not Selena.
What?
It's not Selena.
It's Catwoman.
It is Catwoman. It's not Selena. I'll get into it.
Okay.
When we review it. But back to Cyborg. So what do you guys like Variant?
Yeah, I dig Variant.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys want to see a lot more of her?
I do. Personally.
I do too. I really like her. I think that'll be kind of cool for Cyborg.
Cyborg is lacking any real like side superpowered characters, and I think Variant would be a really good one.
But that's
It'll give him something
still-
to bounce off in the. Sorry.
no. You're good. You're good.
It'll
Go.
give him something to bounce dialogue and narrative off of in the field when he's doing something, as compared to like all the other times he has to come back to Star Labs and talk to that lab assistant. So
yeah,
I say go for it as
Yeah.
long
Cool.
as she gets enough screen time.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, Josh, what were you gonna say?
The only thing I still have guff with is that like it still seems cheeseball to me. I mean,
Yeah.
she's the exact same as Cyborg,
Right.
Like the exact same. She's just
But I
a
mean,
chick.
then you got like Barry and the Reverse Flash. You know, they're the exact
Yeah,
same,
and that's-
just
I
different.
mean-
No,
designs.
he's reverse.
Yeah.
That's the
But
argument.
they're really the same.
That's the argument, but it's like, yeah, the speedsters, that seems to be the only characters that really you get in like an abundance of, it seems like.
Green Lanterns, they're all the same.
That's true. All right.
No,
Not-
there's different emotional spectrums.
but all Green Lanterns have the same powers.
That's
that they
true,
wear the
that's
same
true, that's
uniforms,
true.
same as Cyborg and Variant. You know?
I guess I don't know why I'm hating on Variant so
Yeah.
bad then. I just don't know.
It's just Cyborg
it was
is always
Waller last week.
Yeah,
Now
I mean,
it's-
Yeah, what is
This
it?
is-
what is
this
it with
is-
you and strong women
yeah, I was
characters?
gonna say this is a bad trend. I didn't want to point it out, but this is a bad trend.
All right. Okay.
Shots fired. All right. Well, speaking of strong
To all women. Wow, Josh.
God, you guys stop.
So tell me what you think
Now
of Wonder
I'm going to
Woman.
get all the hate mail.
So speaking of strong women and Selena Kyle, and how do you think? I gotta know why you don't think this is Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
You had Batman this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brad? Why don't you give us a little insight on Batman this week?
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Batman. Actually, so
Awesome.
I'm gonna talk about Batman Rooftops Part 1, issue number 14. This is written by Tom King, art by Mitch Gentz, and it was a good book. Not really a lot happened. There's not really a lot to recap for you. In my
Well, it
opinion,
depends on what you think is a lot or not. You know what I'm
well,
saying?
this is a family friendly.
Yeah, but you can't dance around what happened. I mean,
Yeah,
we
I
kind
mean,
of
yeah.
got to kind of address it. We don't have to
Yeah.
get crazy with it.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, Batman gets lucky.
He does. Yes, he does.
With Catwoman. Okay, so this is the tragic love story of Batman and Catwoman.
And it is.
It is.
Tragic.
It is kinda sad.
Batman and Catwoman kick the crap out of a bunch of many bad guys like Copperhead and Condiment King.
We're talking like D-list villain or even
Right.
F-list villains.
Right,
Like
guys like one hit gone.
Ten-eyed man.
And aren't they
Right.
like kind of whispering sweet nothings in each other's
Yeah.
ears like the entire time?
Yep.
Yeah. So and then after Catwoman helps Batman take out the D-list bad guys, Catwoman has Batman help her steal the Victoria Cat. So they break into this place, and then that's where Catwoman says that, or Batman says that this is the residence of Holly Robinson, and Catwoman said, "Well, that's me."
Yeah, but you don't think that's a fake name?
That's
could-
an alias.
It could be.
That's
could be.
I didn't
but-
realize that was kind of where you're going with it. That's like immediately that's what I thought was like obviously it's just an alias.
Yeah, I think. I mean, she's the girl who has she's a fake. I mean, she's kind of a fraud. She steals things and she has aliases and,
But that could be, I guess, I didn't even take it that way because that name just sounded familiar to me. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But
I can see where you would.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an interesting conclusion.
I
if you
just
held on to that.
Googled Holly Robinson, and it says Holly Robinson is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by DC. Commonly in association with Batman, Holly is frequently ally and sidekick of Catwoman.
Oh,
Bump,
snap.
Boom.
So that may.
Well, then good catch, Brad. I just wrote that off as an alias.
I do wonder if this is actually Holly then and not Selena. It seems like a stretch because it's so closely tied to Catwoman, but it would be an interesting twist. I just don't know why they would continue to have sex after that if he knew that it wasn't.
It's Bruce Wayne, bro. It's Bruce Wayne. Come on. It's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, but him and Selena have that
Bruce
really.
Wayne?
I mean,
You didn't know this? Shoot. Spoiler alert.
Batman
Sorry.
is Bruce Wayne.
Oh, crap. Travis,
What?
I ruined
It
everything.
was right there in front of me the whole
I went to the wrong side of the stairs.
But at the same time, though, I mean, going back to the I Am Suicide run with the whole punch Batman swaparoo theory, I mean, this could kind of line up to something like that. I mean, if that theory's true, I mean, this could be the same kind of little switcheroo that went like over most of the readers' heads. People who didn't necessarily hold on to that name or just made that thought. And this is an alias, obviously, but maybe it's not.
So, what happened with the 237 dead people that Catwoman is being blamed for?
Still haven't got into it.
Okay,
yet.
cool. Because that's what I was. Cause at the end, Catwoman is saying that she's innocent.
Well, I think Batman's going to prove that in the
I think so,
future.
too.
Because, I mean, he's talking like he's already working on it. You know what I mean?
Right, especially when he's trying to make Junior.
Right.
Whoa. Damien's going to have a little brother.
Uh-oh.
Right.
That's got bad news written all over it.
Yeah.
Damien's like, really? Little brother?
I don't want to
Seriously?
know how Damien would act towards a new little brother.
Which is exactly
Come
why I
here,
want to
Goliath. I got a
Travis,
treat
that was
for
the sound
you.
of Travis cracking his knuckles. And he was playing the part of Damien cracking his knuckles.
Right, so
That did not transfer very well, did it?
I tried to cover you on that
Thanks.
one, but
so the book reminds me of classic love story age movies like Maltese Falcon, Casablanca, with the color schemes and that. It really reminded me of that
Nice,
1960s type thing.
Can I just interject with you talking about the art and the color? Because I'm going to. No,
Right? No, go ahead.
no, the color and the art was fantastic, man. This first double page splash of like a starry night with them just at the bottom right corner. Like, that's just such a great composition, man, like, artistically. It's just a beautiful... That would be a cool poster. I would hang that, like, above my sofa if there was a wall back there, But there's a window.
We don't need windows.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the colors and the art just like you did. So.
Yeah. I mean, this is a Batman love story. I mean, no way around it. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you're talking about the Batman mythos, the only person that's going to fit that is Catwoman.
Yeah. Maybe Talia, too, at times.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think she just knew how to
I don't
like
think
feed
so.
on his desires, I think, more so than Catwoman. I think Catwoman is real genuine.
Yeah, I agree. It's more genuine with
I think
her.
there's more good in Catwoman than Talia al Ghul.
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly with that.
I'm looking forward to finding out about the whole Catwoman and the 237 people that she claims she's innocent from killing. That's going to be a cool story when they get around to telling it. I liked so the action in this issue is more about the building of the love story between Batman and Catwoman than taking out of the long list of D-rated villains. I really enjoyed this book. I haven't ever read a Batman book like this, so I rated this as holy.
I agree. I give
Agree.
her holy.
Yeah.
Question for you, Brad. Sorry to interrupt you. I hope I can interject there, Kenny, because I'm going to.
Ooh, throwing it back at her.
I'm going to interject there.
All right, rock, scissors, paper, people.
So you said this was part one. How many parts are there on this?
Two.
So it's just a short run, and then we'll be back to a longer arc.
Just quick round 2 next week.
So, Travis, I'd be interested because I know, and we'll kind of move on to another book here in just a second, but I do want to know, because you're a big fan of Hush, And there's kind of a love story between Batman and Selina and that.
Oh, yeah.
How comparatively would you say this is in comparison to that? I mean, do those two play off each other at all?
I kind of think that they're their own separate thing.
Okay.
Because this is just one night, independent from it. They're working together, and correct me if I'm wrong, she says something like she wants that night because Batman's technically supposed to take her into prison.
Yeah.
Is it Blackgate?
He got the death penalty removed and got her life in prison.
Life in prison,
So
yes,
she's
like,
like, I just want this night. They can
Yeah.
have my life or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of took it as its own story. Now with Hush, it was more of like over a period of time, and they did have that similar kiss, but instead of on the rooftop, it was on a train.
Okay.
And it had the same feeling, but I liked them both equally. So
Okay. Well, that's good. That,
you know,
like,
they're all in their same or their
mean-
own. It's kind of like looping back to the beginning of the show with the whole Watchmen, and it's not intended
Yep.
to have a sequel. I don't think this was intended to be homage to Hush.
Yeah, I don't either. I was just
So,
wondering
yeah, no.
comparatively if that kind of brought you back to that at all.
I didn't
or
even
no?
think about it until you
Okay,
said it, but
cool.
yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, we will move things along here. Josh, you want to recap one of your books for us?
Sure. Let's see here. Which one do you guys want?
Scooby-Doo. Do that one.
No.
Let's do JLA.
I heard Scooby-Doo's
JLA
actually
the
really
Atom.
good.
JLA the Atom?
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Okay. So Justice League of America, the Atom Rebirth, #1 by Steve Orlando, Andy MacDonald, and John, is it Rauch? Rauch?
Rauch, I believe.
Rauch?
Rauch.
Sorry
Yeah,
about that,
something.
John. My bad.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, so 2 years ago, a boy from Hong Kong gets to Ivy University. His name is Ryan Lunlun Choi. I have no idea if that's
Can you
how
say
say
that
it.
again, really fast?
Ryan Lunlun Choi.
One more time.
Ryan Lunlun Choi.
One more time.
Ryan Lunlun Choi.
Okay.
Yeah, nailed it. Nice try, Brad.
Yeah.
So he's dreamed of this moment since he was a kid. He excels at kinematics and meets his new favorite teacher, Professor Palmer.
Anybody know what kinematics
Mr.
means?
Ray Palmer.
No,
No,
I
I
did not.
don't.
It's a physics term for motion.
Huh. Okay.
They actually
So
explain it in
Batman
the book,
and
but I didn't write
Catwoman
it
in the
down.
last,
Ooh.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I had to.
Moving on. So 1 year ago, Ryan meets with Professor Palmer. Palmer pushes Ryan to explain why he's there and pursuing science. We discover that Professor Palmer has opened up his research to Ryan over the last year without him knowing. They have published and patented. The awards that Palmer received has both their names on them, which I thought was kind of cool. He's kind of like, hey, over the last year I've been throwing this and that and every other thing at you. And he's like, you've excelled, you've nailed it, you've surpassed. And he's like, all these awards are because of you. Like, I put your name on them too. I thought that was kind of interesting because he was doing it to just push this kid.
Yeah.
So after Professor Palmer gets the right explanation out of Ryan, Professor shows him the Atom suit by shrinking. They have many adventures and discoveries over the next year. And then 1 week ago, they celebrate all the greatness. So they're just chilling in the bar, having a couple shots, throwing some back.
I really enjoy like the relationship between these two and the fact
Yeah.
that they gave us some exposition on their relationship. That was I liked that about this issue.
Yeah, it was definitely a nice touch. So,
Yeah.
1 week later, Professor Palmer hasn't answered Ryan's tweets for a week.
Aw, he found a new lab student to hang
Right.
out with.
Mail is piling up at his door. Classes have been canceled. Where could he be?
And this is directly out of DC Universe Rebirth #1, this little sequence right here.
Yep. Let's see here. Ryan checks his office. He discovers a message from the professor. Palmer discovered something called the microverse while investigating a disruption in the temporal nanostructure of the timeline.
Solid.
What?
That checks out.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Hashtag LOL. Huh? I don't know what's going on.
Hashtag WTH.
So Professor left Ryan his own belt that is identical to his. Ryan must save not only the professor, but the entire universe. Game on, end of issue.
I like how he introduces this guy to the atom belt and everything, and he shrinks him down, and their base of operations is inside of that Shakespeare skull.
But
or bust.
I want to talk about that.
But then in that frame where he's like, I built one just for you, and it's just laying there on the table, by the way.
Right.
The
Yeah.
janitor hasn't touched it. Nobody else has been in here. Yeah, you're fine.
And one thing I do want to bring up, so he sees that tape where Ray tells him, like, I built this Atom suit for you. I've entered the microverse. I'm stuck here. I need you to come get me. It doesn't say it in this issue, but in DC Universe Rebirth #1, it says, and when you get to the first part of the DC microverse, you're going to see someone. And no matter what, under any circumstances, should you, the tape cuts out. And that's it. That's all you get.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I thought that was... I love this thing where they give us little pieces of each important book in DC Universe Rebirth #1.
And then
you
let
see
you
them
wildly speculate.
Yeah. It's fun. Sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead, Josh.
No,
Sorry
you're
about
good.
that.
You're good. So, it was a fun read. Ryan Choi backstory was pretty fun, and Professor Palmer is a little more dry with his humor than what I expected. I definitely enjoyed that. I think at one point he's even like, Ryan's like, "Hey, I got your email," and he's like, "Yeah, I sent it to you over the internet," and it's just like, well, duh. How else would you send an email?
I love it.
The story flowed really well. I like that the Atom is more true to the actual character. I was worried they were going to go with the Iron Man suit, which with the cover they still could. I'm wondering if Ryan Choi is going to be the Atom for Rebirth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that... Good
So
point.
I'm excited to read more just to see, because I mean the cover, that's clearly Ryan on there. He's got glasses.
Yeah.
And he's got the whole mech looking suit. And so once I saw that and I was thinking about it, I was like, I wonder if Palmer's going to be like gone out there somewhere and it's
Right.
going to be all Ryan coming in taking the reins, you know?
Yeah.
Cool.
So a lot happened in this but not a lot happened in this issue. We got tons of backstory because they kind of brought us up to speed with these two characters over a 2-year period. But there was so much that overall we just got tidbits of here and there, not a lot of story. Like, I mean, there's some parts where Ryan's helping Adam on an issue. He's flying on a bat in one panel, fighting these troll-looking creatures that are riding like worms or something.
Yeah.
There's another one where he's just moving gigantic-looking red pollen particles. So I'm just like, what is going on?
So this, I mean, to me, it's a lot of exposition and setup.
Right.
And this isn't even #1. This is just the Rebirth #1. And then
Right.
the Atom #1 is going to come next. So to me, I was okay with that. If this had actually been a #1, that would have bothered me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I forgot about that. To your point, I totally forgot that. I did see that it was Rebirth #1, and I saw that the next one was going to actually be the #1, but I'd forgot how those kind of work
and
together.
I'm not a huge fan of the way that works either, because you do forget.
They kind of give you a
yeah.
chunk of story, and then they like break it down over the arc.
Man,
it's
in
just
the-
kind of weird.
In the beginning, trying to like get the #1s right was such a pain in the butt, because it was like you'd see Rebirth #1, and then you'd see like the Atom Rebirth #1, and then you'd see Rebirth the Atom #1, and you're like, which one comes first?
Right.
Like, I don't know. Yeah. So.
Is it the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
Let's see here. So, the only thing that felt like it might be relevant to what will be happening going forward is what takes place in the last few pages after the professor disappears. Like I said, though, I still enjoyed it. Check it out, peeps.
Awesome.
There was some things that I was kind of curious about, though. How you had said, because I thought the same thing from this. It appears that Ryan's little base thing that he operates from, his little Overwatch computer system,
Yeah.
is inside that statue, is what it looked like. But Ryan doesn't get his belt until like the end.
It's a good.
So could the professor shrink him down and then leave him there while he goes on his mission and come back and to enlarge him? Like, what if you don't come back from a mission?
Yeah.
So that was one thing that kind of threw me there. And then another thing is there a difference between Justice League and Justice League of America?
Yes.
Yes.
So are they just completely different things?
Yep.
But how are they both in the Rebirth?
Well,
That's
they're
what
just
kinda-
different teams. Yeah, so it's kind of like the JSA is a different team as well, you know, or
So it's just a different group of maybe
Yeah.
some of the same heroes, but then some other heroes too? Or are they separating them completely as far as the heroes that are in it?
Because at a time it was just Justice League. That way it didn't have any affiliation with America, so they could operate outside of borders.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then you had JLA for a short time pre-52 that had like Simon Baz and stuff like that in it. And they were kind of, I think they were controlled by Waller for a short period of time or something. It was a government-related type organization. And then you've got JSA, which, the old school guys.
Yeah, they're from the 40s, right? Yeah.
Okay. So that makes so that was like some of the things that kind of sparked up in my head when I was reading through it. It was like, I was just like, I got to ask the guys. Maybe they can explain how all this stuff works.
No, I didn't even know about the America thing and did no affiliation with America thing.
Makes total sense, though.
Yeah, so what did you rate this one, by the way?
Oh, I totally forgot that. I gave this High Blessing.
High Blessing. Yeah, I would tend to agree. I would. Yeah, I think it was a very good rebirth issue. I'm excited to read more. I'm always excited to read more.
So, not trying to take anything away or add to any of this, but, you said the cover is, what's his name again? Choi?
Yeah,
Ryan Choi.
Ryan Choi. You're like,
I'm speculating.
That Atom suit looks like it's the Iron Man costume and stuff like that.
Well, it looks like the CW Atom.
Yeah, which I was never a fan of.
Just remember that they didn't explain it in this, but they do in other comics. He has to have some type of helmet because the Atom shrinks.
Right.
And if he shrinks far enough, he's going to be smaller than air particles. So you'd kill yourself. So he has to have like a space suit type thing. So it kind of comes on and off. So that's why you see, like, as you're flipping through, he's got like the skin tight mask on.
Right.
That's like running around in normal day stuff. But if he's going microverse kind of deal,
he has to have.
He's got to have it on.
Okay, cool.
That
That's
makes
good
sense.
to know.
So cool.
Okay.
Nice. Thank you for explaining that, Travis.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, we will move things along here to Travisaurus Rex. What do you want to review for us first, Travis?
Let's do Superman 14.
Beautiful.
Sound good? Okay. Superman 14 Multiplicity Part 1. Team is Tomasi, Gleason, Reese, Pardo, and Mialo. Red Sun Russian Superman escapes his universe in search of help from a group of beings called the Gatherers. The Gatherers are a group of creatures set on collecting Supermen for consumption by their master. Who is that person? We don't know yet. It would stand that they are on Earth and... It would stand that they are on Earth and they will take both Red Sun Superman and our Superman. However, the only one that they want is the Chinese Superman, Qian Kang.
Or Kong Keenan.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, I wrote that wrong.
I forget all the time, yeah.
Double K. We'll call him that. How about that? Like, double K. Enter a group of heroes from across the multiverse here to deliver the warning of the Gatherers and cosmic distress.
And this just to, because I'm going to interject here.
Please go ahead.
I'm going to. This brought me back to Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Sure.
Where you see like the weird Superman, and it's like characters that look familiar, but also look like you have no idea. It's like that's a different version of Superman, like with the gray streak in his hair, from Crisis. That anytime you see characters that kind of look familiar but kind of don't, you're like multiverse.
Yep,
so
exactly.
I enjoyed that.
Yep. And I'll stop right here and kind of rerun it. If you guys don't know who Red Sun Russian Superman is, it's basically our Superman, but his pod touched down in Russia. And
Yeah, that's kind of.
And he's got the whole. What is it? The
sickle and hammer.
Yeah, there you go.
Hammer
Thank you.
and sickle.
There's a Red Sun Batman and a Red Sun Wonder Woman, and I mean that was I haven't read it, but I've heard it's a classic.
And that verse, Russia won the Cold War. I take it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
Yep.
they? Okay.
Took over the world.
Let's see here. So the team is warning them of the Gatherers that are coming to the Earth and cosmic distress that's going to follow. The team plus Superman take off in search of the Chinese Superman. However, they are too late. The Gatherers have collected him for their master. The issue ends in a place called Elsewhere, where a supercell of imprisoned Supermen from across the multiverse are being held. It showed a large extent of cells with all these different multiverse of Supermen there, and evidently this being needs to have them all collected there for him.
Kind of like a Brainiac.
Yeah, that's exactly my
thing,
first thought was
yeah.
Brainiac. But we close off with one of these cells being opened, and it's Captain Carrot. Anybody know who Captain Carrot is?
I have no idea. Who is that?
He's from the multiverse. His last time we saw him was in the Convergence series. He's like Superman, but he's a rabbit.
Is it in a world of rabbits?
And he gets his power, I think, from some kind of like carrot type thing that's infused. It's weird.
But is his whole world like rabbit beings?
Rabbits and turtles. Like, there's a turtle called Fastback, and he has the Flash's powers.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I might have to look into that.
Nice.
So,
It's my kind of rating.
anyways, these mechanical arms reach out and they pull him out of his cell. They drop him into like a test tube. Something happens. He gets like zapped with these cool little beam things, and he like devolves from this super rabbit into just a normal little bunny rabbit. And you see a hand stroking the bottom of the rabbit's throat there, and we end the issue. It was kind of weird. Don't know who this person is. Excited. They got me on the hook. I want to find out what's going on.
Very cool.
I said good art. It was a good story start. It was a little rushed, I thought. We could have got a little bit more out of...
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the team from the multiverse, that was very well explained.
Yeah, I liked how they gave us different frames for each name.
Exactly.
Like, that was nice.
Red Racer, though. Talk about a lame name.
Yeah, right. I actually, when I saw
can't all
that,
be good.
when I saw that, I thought it was Johnny Quick from Forever Evil, the bad Flash. But it's just, he looks similar, I guess. So, but anyways, I just didn't get enough from the very beginning and the very end of it. But hey, they got me hooked, so they did something right there. So I'm going to rate it. I'm being conservative with this one. I'm going to rate it a blessing.
I agree wholeheartedly.
High blessing?
No, I'm just going to say solid
Just
blessing.
solid blessing.
Same here.
I really like the Batman.
I
The
don't.
giant
Oh,
Batman?
yeah.
I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, I wasn't
I mean,
either.
he's got rockets on his
Yeah, and
shoulders.
he's a giant.
It just looks weird.
Like, I don't know.
Who's the dude?
But I don't like a lot of the way
Is that like
a
a
lot of
Booster
these
Gold
guys-
type character?
I have no idea who it is.
Huh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a gentleman there just off panel
He
from
does look
Superman.
like Booster Gold, kind of.
And he's got kind of like a double, a D and a backwards D, and he's black and gold. Is that right? I couldn't see. Yeah.
Double D's.
Do you see,
Yeah.
if you want to switch our Aquaman with this Aqua Lady, I'd be okay with that.
I might actually like Aquaman.
Right?
I still stand by liking Aquaman.
Whoa,
You-
whoa!
nobody-
did
nobody
everybody
has-
hear that? Josh actually liked a female character in the comics this week.
Wow, you're going to just
And
really
nice
make
job.
me look awesome, aren't you,
But
Travis?
hey,
Man.
and to all of our lady listeners, this guy is single.
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
That was a wink for you.
Cool. So yeah, I agree with you on the rating. I think it was a little rushed at the beginning, but it got me on the hook. So.
Yeah.
And I've been on the hook with Superman. So
Yeah.
So before we go to break, I'm gonna review real quick Justice League Suicide Squad number 3. Didn't really write a strong recap for this one, but I do want to go into it a little bit. So the first part of this book, story by this one is Joshua Williamson, and art is Jesus Marino, Andy Owens, Alex Sinclair, and Jeremiah Skipper. So, first part of this issue, Kitana and Rick Flag are hanging out at this prison that Max Lord just broke all these baddies out of, and their job basically is to retrieve the black box that's in this prison. Next sequence is Batman breaking free from like a straitjacket at Belle Reve prison. And, you know, he gets to Amanda Waller. He's like, you couldn't possibly expect that to hold me. And she's like, it took you long enough. I was thinking you'd be here like 15 minutes ago. You must be getting weak in your old age or something. And they get to talking. And after that, we see the Suicide Squad walking into the room where the Justice League is being held captive in each of their like respective cells, which is pretty cool, I thought. I like all the cells. You know, you got Wonder Woman being held by her lasso, Barry's being held by some kind of stasis field that I'm sure is plugged into the Speed Force, Superman's being held in a red sun type field. Then we kind of get some fun stuff of like, you know, the Suicide Squad interacting with the chained up Justice League. You know, Captain Boomerang is taunting Flash, and Flash is like, "Man, your breath stinks even in here." And then and Captain Boomerang like jumps at it and gets zapped by the stasis field, which is really funny.
Classic silly rogue.
Yeah. And Superman is. So they got into this mess because Killer Frost sucked the life force out of Superman and totally dominated the Justice League, but she hesitated before she did.
Can I say on that scene, I didn't realize on that splash that she froze everybody. I
Yeah.
thought she just brought up these spikes and everybody's just like, oh crap, and that was like the end. I didn't
No, I
realize
thought-
she literally trapped everybody in ice.
I think
Like,
she
I
did,
didn't even,
yeah.
Yeah, I
I,
think
didn't
so
even
too.
catch that.
But Superman realized she hesitated, and he's like, there's good in you. Why'd you hesitate? And she's like, there was this one time in Metropolis where I was kind of doubting my career path and my college and stuff, and you flew over me, and it kind of gave me hope to like continue through college. It was a real Metropolis moment. And that's kind of cool. We see like some good in her, and we know she's a good guy. And Brad, you told me she's going to be in the JLA
I think it's JSA.
or JSA.
It's one of
No,
them.
one of
it's
JLA.
it's
JLA?
going to be the
Okay.
JLA because
Yep.
I just, as I was flipping
Yeah.
through
You're right,
Superman,
yeah.
there's an ad for it, and
There
I was
is
like,
an ad.
holy
Yeah.
cow, it looks awesome.
So it's kind of a touching moment between those two. But Deadshot breaks it up and he's like, "Listen, no one cares about us. Amanda Waller needs us, and she doesn't even care about us. So cut it out. No more soft, touchy, feely stuff. He's Deadshot's. Let's just shoot some people instead. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not into all that
Shoot
emotion stuff. So we jump over to a deserted island where Emerald Empress, Johnny Sorrow, Rustum, Lobo, Dr. Polaris, and Max Lord are hanging out and killing a bunch of, what are they called?
Monks.
Monks? No, they're not monks. They're shamans.
Or shamans.
Yep,
Yep.
and Max Lord is torturing the leader of these shamans, trying to get the shaman to give him access to like something that he refers to as him. And of course he tortures him to the point where he can get the information, and they're like, all right, time to go. So then we jump back to the Suicide Squad, and this is where Amanda Waller frees the whole Justice League, and Batman pretty much lays it all out there that, Maxwell Lord has freed all these villains. We get introductions to all these villains, Emerald Empress and Rustum and Johnny Sorrow and Dr. Polaris and Lobo and all that. And Amanda Waller is like, listen, these guys are trying to kill me, and I want all of you to protect me. And like the Justice League and Suicide Squad just kind of stands there for a second, and then they all just bust out laughing because it's like, yeah, we don't want to protect you, Amanda Waller. Come on, like, you want us to save your life,
Well, I think it's just the Suicide Squad that laughed. Because
it's all of them.
If you look at the picture, the Leaguers just seem to like look at each other.
Yeah, that's true.
But like
Oh,
the
yeah,
Suicide
yeah, you're
Squad
right,
are
I
all
guess.
kicking their heads back and laughing. So like, I don't know. That's something I noticed with that panel. It looked like the Suicide Squad or the League was just like, what?
You're not wrong on that, actually. I thought that I guess you're right. But Batman's
That
like,
would be you're not being wrong. That's the same thing.
yeah,
as being
whatever.
wrong.
Yeah. So Batman's like, settle down, everyone. Waller isn't the only thing they're after, and he explains there's a weapon being held at Bel Rev where they're at, and the team is on their way there right now, and it's revealed that this super team of bad guys with Lobo and Emerald Empress and all them was the first Suicide Squad, and it's to be continued in Battleground Bel Rev next week. And them being the first Suicide Squad, that is not something from continuity, is something we established on our last show.
Yeah.
I believe a listener, actually Paco, texted me, and he said the villain is going to be Eclipso.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
which we talked a little bit about that over text, but there was a big fold out in one of the issues that showed Eclipso, and he actually kind of looks like Green Goblin a little bit.
Yeah.
So
He's got kind of a multicolored face, and
yeah, which is cool. I mean, you told me a little bit about Eclipso, and who else? Who was his predecessor?
No, Eclipso was an angel of God, and he kind of like lost his way, kind of thing, and he was cast down. And Spectre took his place.
Right.
Spectre, if you don't know who Spectre is, he's the embodiment of vengeance. If God says he doesn't like something, he sends the Spectre out to go and judge. Hal Jordan's soul, when he died after Final Crisis, was bonded to Spectre. And that's we kind of got a little bit of that in Blackest Night.
Right.
We got to see Spectre without Hal Jordan, and then with him again. How that all worked out. But
Yeah.
it was just kind of interesting to go back and look at that. Like, I've never personally seen Eclipso in a storyline, but I've heard of him. Like, he's kind of been like the legend that I've never read about. So
Right.
maybe it's like in
Like Voldemort.
you said his name.
How dare you? Don't say his name.
No.
That's a Fantastic Beast there.
Yeah.
Hey-o. Cool. Yeah, that was interesting to hear about, and I think it'll be interesting to read about. I gave this one a salvation. What did anyone else read this one?
I did.
I read it.
What would you guys rate it?
I
know you all aren't going to give it a salvation.
No,
Yeah,
I went
I had it
holy.
in high holy
I went holy.
because I
Yeah.
really
Dude,
liked it.
Man, this series, it's just so awesome.
Everything they're doing that's Justice League Suicide Squad is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I went back and reread, like, all 3 issues just because, like, I had caught the first 2
talked.
just on the show, but, like, I hadn't actually read them. So I went back and reread through all of them. Like, it's just a good book, man. I'm
It
really
is.
liking the setup. Waller's growing on me a little bit. I admit it. I throw it out there, but it's like I got through this issue without hating her the entire time.
She's just a total
So-
badass, man. I mean,
She
that's
kind of
what it's
is, and I
about.
mean, it's like she's
He's
controlling.
breaking down that roll.
She's just, I mean, she's controlling.
so many walls tonight.
Hey,
but
he
she's
likes a
controlling,
girl.
but she's controlling all these super beings and just staying in control. It's like becoming more
what she does.
fascinating. I admit
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
becoming more fascinating as I watch her work. It's just like, man, she's twisted, but
Right?
she's like in control, man. Like I'd never seen.
Cool. Travis, what would you rate this one?
I can't rate it because I'm an idiot and I cannot operate Dropbox, and I did not get this one downloaded. I
Oh,
literally
really?
just downloaded it as you guys were talking about. I was
Oh,
like,
no.
which one are you guys talking about?
I was
So,
wondering,
my
like,
bad.
the puzzle books I was getting from you during it.
Yeah.
That explains so much. All right, cool. So we are going to head to break, and we will be right back.
Be right back.
Science, technology, and advanced research labs. That's right, folks. Star Labs has made it our mission to make your life on Earth better. In 2017, Star Labs is proud to launch our newest achievement in personal safety, Primate Paste. Gorilla Grodd got you down? Just lather on a thick layer of our new Primate Paste, and you and your loved ones will be protected from unwanted gorilla psionic attacks. Individual results may vary. Use with extreme caution. Do not apply directly to skin. Side effects include, but are not limited to, upset stomach, diarrhea, headache, and rapid hair growth. Some users have reported an unusual desire for bananas. Primate Paste, allowing you to walk the streets safely once more. Star Labs, making your life better through science and technology.
And what do we say, Josh?
And we're back.
We are back. All right. So, what do we got next?
Well, I think Brad's up.
No.
At least we're starting on a high energy note, right? We're like
I know,
ready to
right?
go. We're not tired
Super
at all.
high energy.
Yeah.
The rise and fall of Captain Atom.
There we go.
right.
That's that high energy I needed.
All right, written by Carrie Bates, art by Will Conrad. We start this book somewhere in Kansas where Captain Atom is in a military facility being watched very closely. We then find out that the year is 2012 as Captain Atom is being told that he won't see 2013.
It's kind of a crappy. Thanks, dude.
You know, I got some comments I want to make with this book, but I want to just give you guys a quick little recap about it first.
Awesome.
After we find this out, then we rewind 23 minutes, and Adam is getting ready to get his superhero on, and is advised to let the Justice League handle it because this ship is capsizing.
Okay.
So after he does help, he spikes a fever, which is kind of like a miniature little blast, is like kind of like a pulsating blast type thing. So Superman, Cyborg, Green Lantern show up and decide that Captain Atom isn't a bad guy like they thought he was. And
It's very, hey, you's bad. No, I'm not. Okay.
yeah, and
Sure, whatever.
So
Just go with it.
So Cyborg does his little analysis thing, and he's like, if you keep this up, you're going to blow up the atmosphere and destroy all of Earth. So Captain Atom's like, hey, Superman, can you push me along here? So they do, and Green Lantern puts a construct around him so to kind of contain him, and then boom, and we go into a destroyed city where it says that you are no Manhattan Project, and you are more valuable than just a nuke.
Wow.
And then the final panel is a naked dude laying in the middle of what seems to be a nuclear blast. So, good, bad, and ugly. I didn't like it, but I can't stop thinking about it, and so I don't even know. It was weird. because the Superman that they showed was the New 52 Superman, didn't show up till 2014, but this says it's 2012, so this should be the pre-52 Superman. So I'm confused there. And then
valid point.
Travis
That is a valid point.
Me and Travis were talking earlier, and Travis pointed out, hey, there's some time travel involved there. I know Captain Atom blows up Kansas, and I know Smallville's in Kansas. I don't know. So there's some things in there that I just don't know about Captain Atom. I don't know. But on the same thing is, like, I read this like 3 times. And every time I'm like, okay, I just didn't know where it was going.
Yeah.
But like I was driving back with my daughter today, and I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about this book. So
I think the most pressing question is, when Dr. Manhattan does show up, are they going to show the blue penis?
I don't think that's the most pressing thing. I mean,
seriously, that was a big deal.
Valid
in
concern.
The Vertigo
movie,
books. Yeah, no, I jest, but I didn't even think about the similarities between Captain Atom and Dr. Manhattan until Brad pointed them out to me, and I was like, wow, these two are essentially like the same characters. Now, to my knowledge, he never glowed blue like this before. He was always more of a silver. So they've really made it a point to make him look like Dr. Manhattan.
Well, I mean, he was going to be the Dr. Manhattan when they were getting ready to do Watchmen. DC bought the character from Cheriton Comics.
Okay.
And they bought Blue Beetle. They bought Captain Atom. I can't remember who else. But anyway, it's like they were going to be making their own team, and then DC ended up using the characters, and then so they came up with their own characters for which ended up being Watchmen. So like it's kind of funny they mentioned Manhattan. Captain Atom is kind of DC's Manhattan.
I mean, yeah, he's the nuclear man. So yeah.
What's Manhattan's real name? Like before he became
I forget.
Manhattan, do you know?
I forget it.
Off the top of your head?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have to look.
Because I wonder if it's
Frederick or something.
it wouldn't be Nathaniel Adam, would
yes, it's Nathaniel Adam.
That's Captain Adams.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was.
Yeah, that's what you're
I didn't
talking
know
about. You're talking about Captain Adam, right?
No, I was talking about Manhattan. I didn't know if
Oh,
Manhattan's real
Manhattan. I thought you
name.
said Adam. I'm sorry.
Dr.
I misheard.
Manhattan's real name is Dr. Jonathan Osterman.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and he was very similar to Captain Atom in that he was involved in some type of accident that turned him into the nuclear man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The issue was I'm on the same page as you. It was something I've only read half of it, and then I heard your recap on the other half and flipped through it as you were reading it. But it was a much deeper read than I think I was mentally prepared for when I started reading
And
it.
it's very wordy.
Yes.
It was in that's I don't know. I kept thinking about it. How is this working, and how is everything working together? I mean, I rated it as blessing. I don't feel like it shouldn't be blasphemy. It shouldn't be purgatory, because I mean, like, man, I couldn't stop thinking about this book. I want to know more.
It's kind of like Batman I Am Suicide in that, like, I didn't necessarily like certain parts of that, but I had to rate it good because we got a lot of really good conversation out of it. And I wish I had read the whole thing of this, because I think we could sit and talk about this for a long time if we...
I mean, it's
Josh?
cool.
One point I want to make is, like, I think this book has some of the best artwork I've seen yet.
Absolutely.
Like,
Wholeheartedly
some of
agree.
the best artwork I've seen.
Yeah, and I mean, they're definitely pumping something into Captain Atom.
And I didn't realize the year thing with the Superman and the New 52 Superman, because that was like my thought was like when I saw that Superman, I'm like, I saw the collar. I remember Travis talking about the collar, and I was like, well, this is obviously like New 52. So I was like, and then when you brought up the time travel thing, I didn't even catch that on the paper at the end.
Yeah.
Like the
Right.
date, he goes back to 1994.
Yeah, so when is this happening?
So like, I had thought that was just, oh, well, that's how they're tying. They're going to jump now from New 52 to this with this storyline. That's how they're going to do it. But I didn't realize New 52 Superman was after that year. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's,
And I know Captain Atom has a lot of significance with the state of Kansas, because he goes nuclear and pretty much wipes out the state of Kansas.
And did you guys notice that the destruction from when he exploded, Like it's the same exact scene. It's got like the water tower and everything. Like
Not
super
exactly.
awesome detail.
If you look real close, I was doing the same thing you were doing.
Don't you disagree with me, Travis?
Look in the background. One has
Ooh.
mountains, one doesn't.
One has mountains, one doesn't.
Yes, because the Manhattan Project was in the foothills in what is it, Arizona or whatever? I don't know.
Okay.
New Jersey.
No, Manhattan
Oh,
Project,
okay.
the actual
Yeah.
Manhattan with Dr. Oppenheimer. And then this is supposed to be Kansas, so it's Flatland, Kansas. I thought the same thing because the water tower. They look
where
very
were they
similar.
taking it?
Right.
Where are they taking who?
Like, where were they taking Adam? Where was that?
They were
place
taking
at?
him to the place called Continuum, which was in Kansas. So
Yeah.
it's not that he's jumping from like Kansas to the East Coast. He's just jumping through time when
Right.
he explodes. So it's in the Continuum where that Continuum building was supposed to be in Kansas, just in 1994.
Right. So it's the same place. Is what I
Right.
was saying.
But you're saying it looks similar to
It
the
looks-
destruction page?
Well, like this scene
Yeah.
with the tower and stuff.
But
like,
look in the background. There's mountains. They're
Right.
They're referencing. They're saying, "Oh no, Dr. Oppenheimer was the destroyer of all man," and they showed
Right.
that destroyed. That's supposed to be like the towns that they fake build to test out the nuke bomb. I don't think there was any tie there.
Well,
'cause-
if you look at this scene, it's a much lower angle from the ground, so I think
okay.
the mountains are
Yeah.
just hidden.
Okay.
So I'm going to agree to disagree with you, Travis.
okay.
Oh, yeah,
Gentle-
that is actually a
Gentleman's
valid
agreement.
point. Yeah, it is lower. You wouldn't even see mountains in that very final splash page if they were there.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna move things on. Travis, give me the distance. No. I don't. I can't comment on it
Yeah,
at
I
all.
mean, we don't.
We're just
know.
wildly
We don't know.
speculating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, that's
Yeah.
all. Like this is
It's
this
a good
week's
eye,
created
yeah.
a lot of like wild speculation.
Yeah.
I
Oh
like
yeah.
it.
We're gonna get closer to that as the rebirth thing works itself out.
So
Trav-
you were saying, sorry, Brad, you were saying that you're like, I don't understand the timeline or how
Right.
this thing's going on. So I don't think, I just thought about this, but I don't think we're supposed to know the timeline because technically in New 52, we started all over.
Right.
So Superman with his light blue turtleneck outfit, he had that from the time he faced off with Brainiac and first became the Superman
Right.
in public
Oh,
eye.
okay.
So I don't think timeline really is concerning. So
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't think we were supposed to pay that much attention to it.
Okay.
But
that makes sense.
on the
Yeah,
paper
I
it says
agree.
1994 on it. It's going to be really interesting because it's like kind of like Marty McFly got caught back with his parents kind of thing. So I kind of hope. I was talking with Ben before the show about this. You see that Nathaniel Adam is no longer in his containment
Right.
suit. He's just a person, and he's never been shown outside of his containment suit because
Oh really?
he literally was shown,
Well,
know,
it was his skin,
exposed.
I mean,
it was
yeah.
his skin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he looks
Okay.
like
So-
he has holes in himself.
so maybe he's lost his powers, and maybe in the next 3 or 4 issues or whatever, he'll search out the people that did this to him, or made him Captain Adam, and we'll get to see an origin story again. I mean,
that'd be
pretty cool.
And that would make sense as to why they said the fall and rise.
yeah.
So and just
And again, wild speculation.
Right.
Sure,
well,
sure.
and in the vein of
If
that,
he's not dead,
so
because I mean, look at him.
yeah, he's pretty smoked.
zooming in on this paper, the things that are.
Can I admit to one thing? I didn't even see the time on the paper, the date stamp. I saw the article next to Kansas that said Shoemaker Levy comet crashed into Jupiter. I was like, I remember that when I was a kid. That was like in 1990 something. And then I zoomed in and I was like, oh,
It was 1994.
dork.
Cold feet? $10 happy feet. That's another thing. 1994 sports calendar. Kansas City Star. I mean, there's like a lot of articles that are actually visible on this final newspaper. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm zoomed way in on it.
Mm-hmm.
So getting to the rating though, Brad, you gave it a blessing.
Blessing, yeah.
Travis, what would you rate this?
Agreed.
Blessing.
Yep.
Josh.
I think I was up in the high blessing because I'm definitely excited to read more about it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
like the art, like I said, the art was some of the best I've
It
seen.
was.
So I mean, I got to put it in the high bracket.
Okay, cool. And I'm not gonna rate it just because I
Rate it, Ben.
Go sit in your
not-
Do
go
it.
sit in
Do
your
it.
tower,
Now.
Ben.
Now, Ben.
I have
Dude.
not read the whole thing. I can't
Oh,
rate it.
that's true. That's true. That's true.
I feel as if it's unfair. I can give I think the artwork is a freaking salvation.
Yeah,
though.
the artwork is phenomenal.
Alone, just by itself. I can't rate the story. I feel like I need to read it 2 or 3 times to be able to rate the story, because I really want to. This isn't a light read.
No.
Dude, and some of the ways that they spell out like the sounds that are happening, like are just spot on. Like this, like I was just trying to pronounce that, and I mean it just sounds like, or I mean it just comes out like what you think it would sound like, just like electricity, just like beaming off of him, like just cool artwork, man.
So,
something I would say, and Ben and I think are on the same page with this, readers. Captain Atom is actually a really interesting character. He was a screw up to begin with, Nathaniel Atom. He was court-martialed, and then he went into this research program thing, and he got his powers this way. Do yourselves a favor. We've said this multiple times. Run out to your local comic book shop and pick up Captain Atom Armageddon.
Yep.
What is it? 6 issues, I think it is, something like that.
Yep.
Beautiful artwork, beautiful story. It's got time travel. It's got dimensional crossing.
And I'm actually going to say this now. The next person to give us a Patreon donation, I will send you a copy of the Rise of Captain Atom Armageddon, the graphic novel. I have a copy here. It's brand new condition. I will send that to you. The next person that gives us a Patreon review, because it's such a good book.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we
Okay,
donate to her on Patreon?
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You can just give
we're
me the cash, cut out the middleman. That would be great. All right, cool. So moving it along here, I really want to talk to Travis about Green Lanterns.
Whatever.
So
The Green Lanterns.
I'll
Okay,
just sit here and be
hold on.
quiet then, Ben.
I just because there's some
We're
Jessica
jumping.
Cruz stuff that. And
Okay.
actually, can you hand me the paper copy of this issue, Travis?
You betcha. There you are.
Snag that
okay,
before
so
anyone else takes it.
Green Lantern number 14,
to
Phantom
it,
Lantern.
Josh.
The team is
Saw me
Humphreys,
eyeing it.
Pansika, Cloette, and Fiera and Blonde. My apologies if I screwed up any of your names. Phenomenal work on this issue, by the way.
The artwork?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, we have Frank Leminski survived his emotional explosion from our last issue. Remember, I said we've seen lanterns explode before, but I think this guy's toast. I was wrong. Write
What was
it
that?
down.
What was that?
Yeah, I was wrong. Did you hear that?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I heard it
I'm gonna
that time.
sample.
It happens every once in a
Hell
while, like
froze
usually
over.
I'm gonna,
second
I'm
Tuesday
gonna
of the
make
week.
a hip hop song. You know how they sample things like in
Sure.
hip hop songs?
I
was wrong. I was wrong.
And you're going to play it all the time when I come on the
And
show.
I'm gonna
huh?
hire a rapper to write a song about how Travis was wrong.
Thank you. So, this time, however, we see that Frankie Boy has discovered the compassion or the light of the Indigo tribe.
Love it.
Across town, Volthoom squares off with the Guardian Rami and an end-all, be-all struggle. The story refocuses back on Frankie Boy, Jessica, and Simon, who find a way through compassion to convince Frankie to remove the Phantom Lantern ring. When he does, our protectors from 2814 rush into action, retrieving the ring. Jessica picks up the ring and puts it on, and it reveals that Jessica is a real Green Lantern. And that her original ring never made a mistake in selecting her.
Made me so happy, man.
She masters the constructs after this. Basically, she got a big dose of courage or whatever you want to call
willpower,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. And apprehends Frank. Enter Vath Sarn and Isomat Call. These guys are awesome, by the way, if you don't know them.
I thought that was Jon Stewart
No.
when I
did
saw
too.
it.
Yeah, it looks
I realized
like- yeah.
later it wasn't, but
Yeah. Vath Sarn and Isomat Call hate each other. If you don't know this, go back to Green Lantern Corps 1.
Which
It
one's the
is-
lizard guy?
He's Isomat Call. So Vath Sarn is a what's the Sonagarian? Yeah, and Isomat Call is whatever the other world is, the ones that are constantly at war. And in that issue, they become partners. They have to become partners.
Oh, nice.
It's awesome. So they're here to respond to 2814's distress beacon calls. Rami joins the reunion carrying a glowing sphere, which we are told contains the vanquished Volthoom. Trapped where he can never escape, the Guardians orders Vath and Isomat off the planet and instructs them that he will remain on Earth to train Jessica and Simon. In a shocking twist, we find out that in a fight In a shocking twist, we find out that in the fight between Volthoom and Rami, that Volthoom was able to overpower Rami and trap him inside of the sphere, leaving his body to be possessed by Volthoom. I said it's great art. It's a solid story. I'm giving it a high holy.
I agree.
Oh, go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, like, that little switch at the end, it's like, duh, I should have obviously seen that, but I did not see that coming. I thought somehow he made his escape and trapped Volthoom. I'm like, all right. And then I was just like, oh, duh. Like, come on.
Does Volthoom remind you of Palpatine at...
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
Good.
This page right here with Jessica being like a super powerful Green Lantern.
Confirming her...
See, like, because we've been complaining for a while about, like, you're taking the anxiety thing a little too far. It's always a problem with her. And to an extent, I thought about that some more after we talked about it. And I actually like that because I struggle with anxiety. And it's like, even though you overcome it, it never really goes away. It
always comes back.
It's always a problem. Even if you overcome it, it's still, there's times when it's still, like, super debilitating. So I think that's always going to be a theme with her, and I think that's good that that's a theme. But the fact that, like, she overcame it and she turns out to be a super powerful Green Lantern, and now she's making all these badass constructs, you know, and it's like, look at me do this and this and this and this, and, like, it's like she totally broke out of her shell, and it's like,
go Jaybird.
Yeah, man.
I love how it was like immediate too. As soon as she put it on and realized she stayed, she's just like, it all makes sense.
Yeah,
yeah. She's like as powerful as Simon now.
Yeah,
I mean, she kind of always has been, but she's had this barrier in front of her that she's needed to break.
She's had a wall.
Yes, she's had a wall, and she broke through it.
But I like how she handed it to Baze, and he kind of like. Hesitated, you know, because he's like almost like he wanted it, but he knew not to put it on because.
Did you read into that? Because at the very last, there's like 3 little panels there where he's got it in his hand, and it says something along the lines of, "It could all be mine," or "It's mine." And I was like, "Avarice, orange."
I saw that too.
I was just about to ask what you guys think he would turn into if he put that ring on.
I don't know.
I don't know if he would have went that crazy, but like
Red Lantern.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might have went red. Like, I guess I don't even.
Red?
He doesn't
Really?
seem like a very ragey person.
But see, I don't know enough about him. But like,
Fear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but it's like,
I mean, like the gun when
he always carried his gun on him, even though.
Or I'm sorry, I meant yellow. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think
no, you're right. No, I got what you meant.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact that he hesitated showed some fear right there in itself. So
yeah.
But he does, on the other side of that coin, he does possess the one thing that we have not seen before in a Green Lantern, and that is the Emerald Sight, whatever that is.
That's true.
So,
oh yeah, I didn't know. I forgot about that.
I think there might just be that underlying desire, and I'm speculating again, of course, but I said avarice or orange light, but
yeah.
I love it. It was so many like little plot things that they threw in there, but I just love she got that boost of confidence from the Phantom Lantern ring rather than it take control of her like it did Frankie Boy.
Yeah.
So great. I like Ben just said, we've been kind of harping on the whole anxiety thing. I love the fact that they're like, yep, okay, we're going to drop this one like it's hot and move straight on forward.
Yeah, they got past it, you know.
Yeah,
Again, I think that's going to continue to be a theme with her,
Yeah.
but I don't think it'll be as prevalent now.
And that's fine if, you know, like she gets in the heat of battle and then something causes her to question and she hits the anxiety, because that's what happens when you have anxiety.
Yeah.
Something big happens and then it just causes you to reel.
Yeah.
So that's fine if we know that about her, but we just don't have to hear about it all the time.
That's just good character development.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
just going with who the character is.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Moving forward, so do you think that there's too many human Green Lanterns for Sector 2814?
Oh, how many are there now?
I mean,
we got the 3 major ones. We got
I think there's like 8.
3, 4, 5.
I don't think there's 8.
5.
well, I mean,
because
and then 6 with Reiner as a White Lantern.
we're humans. We're the smartest and the best, so we should have the most. Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Sure.
America. We're all American too, right?
Earthica. Yeah.
Earth. I had 2 points. I wanted to,
Yeah, Josh, what do you got?
one thing like when I was reading through it, like when he turned into the Indigo, it seemed like he almost worked it out himself.
Yeah.
That he had to remove the ring. And he did, and I loved how immediately on the next panel he's just like, "Wait, huh? No!
Why did I do this?
What have I done?"
I had
And
compassion for like a second.
then, then they attacked him, but like, I thought that was like the Indigo. I think that was one of the coolest lanterns I've seen, because you really just see how just the compassion just dominates that person, and they're just compassionate no matter what. And like he just immediately showed compassion to them. He was processing everything, but then as soon as he took it off, he just like snapped out of it and like, what? And like that, all that human greed and emotion and everything just like triggered back, and he's like, what am I doing?
You know,
so do you guys know sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, go ahead, man.
Do you guys know the little dirty secret behind the Indigo tribe?
No.
So if you're an Indigo Lantern, you're actually somebody who's done something very, very, very bad. It's almost like a prison sentence, and that's why you realize Indigo 1, the female that's like the lead.
with the bow staff?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do remember
she's
her
got
from-
kind of like a chain thing around her neck, and then they always have some kind of like chain and bracelet type deal. It's actually showing the compassion to their bad side and trying to bring that out in them.
Oh, okay.
But when they lose that, they become their old selves again. And in one storyline, Indigo 1 loses her ring, and she's actually a mass murderer, like this horrible, horrible person. And she's able to catch herself because she's had the Indigo Lantern ring for so long. She was able to stop herself.
Wow.
But it's just all of those people, they're not these compassionate, nice people.
It's like Extreme
the
Rehab.
ring. Yeah.
It's like
It's
Extreme
kind of
Rehab
like
for 'em.
the Star Sapphires before they actually programmed the rings.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
those used to
there's
like possess, I guess is
Yeah.
the word. Yeah.
I would. I think it'd be really
Stage
cool.
5 clinger possession.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. I think it would be cool to see a more like emotional spectrum more on Earth. Like I want to see like more humans that aren't Green Lanterns. Like I want to see a human Yellow Lantern, Red
Blue
Lantern,
Lantern.
Blue. And I want to see them all fight or have their own little whatever.
There was
Yeah.
a Red Lantern that was human
Was it?
for a little while.
Well, and I guess Guy Gardner was a Red Lantern too.
Yeah, this was somebody else though. But yeah.
I don't think a Red Lantern could survive on Earth, though, because
Yeah.
I think you'd just be imprisoned.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, doesn't it just
How
turn
would
you
they
into
keep
a
him?
rage monster, though? I mean, aren't the Red Lanterns, for the most part, kind of just crazy evil? Or no?
I don't think they're all evil. I mean, it's just they're using the rage.
I mean, do they
it's-
fight for good, though?
I mean, that's like saying they're all Sith bad or all dark side user of the Force bad.
Well,
I
all
mean,
Sith are bad.
are they?
The ones I know of.
Revan?
So you know who's not bad is Nightwing, number 12, with story by
You're
Tom
right.
Seeley and art by Chris Sotomayor. So in Nightwing number 12, a big-time lawyer named Robert Chapman has been murdered, and Nightwing is checking things out. He goes and has a heart-to-heart with Jimmy Nice. Then he goes off to teach some underprivileged kids how to be gymnasts. Way to go, Nightwing. Then he meets up with a team of colorful reform villains to figure out how to save Gorilla Grimm, who's been captured for a crime that he didn't commit.
And Sean Sang.
Yep. So this leads him over to the Marcus Casino to try and question a dude named Forsyth, and the Runoffs decide to come with him. They break into the casino office and find Forsyth, and just as they're about to question him, the lamest supervillain ever, a.k.a. Shamu, the giant walking, talking whale, breaks in and starts manhandling Nightwing, which of course leads to a giant fight between the Runoffs and Shamu's team of robbers that wear whale masks. The thing's name isn't really Shamu. I
It's
forget.
Orca.
Orca, whatever. So,
Yeah.
I prefer Shamu. Anyway, Nightwing and the Runoffs win, of course, but it turns out this whole fight was a distraction so some guy in a devil's mask could kidnap Forsyth. And it's to be continued next time. So, this book was a little confusing for me. Again, it was a lot of text heavy at the beginning. I don't know if I was just maybe in the wrong mood when I was reading the thing, but it was another one of those super narrative heavy books that just moved at a snail's pace at the beginning for me. And it was kind of surprising because the last couple issues have been really, really good. They've really impressed me. The artwork was good. I have no complaints about that whatsoever. But the story was kind of lacking in a big way on this one for me anyway. I think that it's just gotten a bit too complicated for my taste. I feel like Nightwing books should be full of wisecracks and maybe not such a crazy complicated story. Like maybe more just wisecracks and action and stuff like that. But it could clear itself up.
I gotta inject there.
Yeah, sure.
So, I would think so too. But this whole arc is about him finding himself, It's all about him taking a look at himself and hey, who am I? And sitting back and looking at all the runoffs and whatnot and finding something in there that he relates to. So I mean, I actually really like this book.
I like this story arc,
Yeah.
but this book got a little bit. It was a little dense for me. It just got a little. I lost it at a certain point.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in purgatory for this book. I want it to get better, and I'm sure it will get better. But this issue for me was the definition of a purgatory. I read it, and it was just like, meh. I could take it or leave it. I don't think it was terrible. I don't think it was great. I know, Brad, you probably gave it a blessing or a high blessing.
I was a high blessing, low holy.
Yeah.
I really like the story, and I like that self-discovery aspect of what this is doing. I felt that it moved everything along very nicely. See, I actually felt that it was at the right pacing, but there again, maybe we were both in different mindsets going into it, I mean.
Yeah, and sometimes you are. And
yeah.
I mean, you're a huge Nightwing
yeah,
fan. You always have been. And
yeah.
that's kind of like Brad or Josh with Cyborg. That was one of your first books that you started reading, so I think you'll always have a soft spot for that book.
Or a hard spot.
Yeah, so I'm that way about Superman, actually, because that's kind of what got me into Rebirth was the Superman title. And just anything with an S,
Yeah.
Superman Action Comics is another one.
Yeah.
Travis, did you read this book?
I unfortunately did not.
You didn't?
No. I opened the file to look at it, and I saw that it was so narrative heavy, and I was like, I want to focus my attention on
something.
That sounds so horrible, but I mean,
no,
I
it was
flipped through to answer a couple of quick questions, like
is
to see
Orca
Orca
a woman?
Yes, exactly.
Is that a male or female?
Yeah. And
I'm still calling that thing Shamu.
I read the first 2 pages and it's kind of the same thing. I'm just like,
or maybe I'll call it Free Willy. I don't know.
No.
I keep thinking of famous whales.
Hey, I will say though, it is kind of cool to see a villain come back with his gang of wannabes. I didn't realize that his minions were wearing Shamu masks as they fought. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
everybody visited SeaWorld that day.
Right.
I really like the runoffs.
I do too. That's one part. It's a very colorful, fun part of this story.
And I actually want to know more about it. I would like them to take an issue and just on them,
or just do a runoff
or
spin-off.
Something. Yeah,
spin-off like a 3 or 4 issue little mini series on the runoffs.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I mean, I think it'd be cool for Nightwing to be the leader and have them go out and do their own stuff.
Yeah. And that very well might be what they're doing here.
They need
he's
to
working with that group.
Speaking of doing your own stuff, Hawkman is kind of doing his own thing this week. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Josh?
The segues are real tonight.
Oh yeah.
Get the pun master
moving things right along there.
All right, so Death of Hawkman number 4 out of
6.
Yes, but my notes here gotta load. Give me a second.
Travis just did the thing where you're pulling someone off the stage with a cane.
Rude.
No. I was doing that to myself. That was my book review.
All right, Death of Hawkman number 4 out of time, part 4, Retribution and Other Catastrophes.
Breath.
What?
Breath.
Oh
no.
I just thought he was making a good old run there, so I'm like, breathe, dude.
Oh,
yeah.
I got it.
That's okay.
I can talk for hours without breathing. Don't challenge me.
He's like Aquaman in that way.
No, I like Josh.
Don't make me get out the green spandex pants.
Just the 2 of them.
All right, so this is by...
I've known Josh the longest out of everybody.
That's true.
Oh.
That's true. Brad used to be one of my minions.
It's not a contest, Brad.
All right. But you're winning, Josh.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Oh, really?
All right.
What are we doing?
So, this is by Mark and Draco, Aaron Lepresti, Rodney Buscemi, John Livesade, Norm Rapmond, Sean Parsons, and Blonde.
And they all they actually labeled at the front they colored or did art on different portions of the story, which is interesting because it looks cohesive. It all looks like one person drew it. But
I think there was one spot, I can't remember where it was, that I felt like I may have noticed a change, but yeah, for the most part it was pretty consistent the whole way through. So In this issue, we discovered what Despero is up to. He's on Ran, and he's transported a lot of people with him. He was behind the attack on Ran and behind all the drama between Ran and Thanagar. We also discovered that Elena's father, Sardath, is still alive and in custody of Despero. Okay, so what is Despero up to? Well, he wants the Ninth Metal. The Ninth Metal on Thanagar is no more, but more was discovered on their moon, Rangor?
Ragnar.
Yeah, sure.
Ragnor?
Ragnarok? No, not Ragnarok.
Not Ragnarok?
Rangor? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's Thor.
So, Despero sets up a large Zeta portal on Ran.
Zeta.
Uses 2 of his guys to infiltrate Rangor. He blows it up to release the Ninth Metal of the moon and transport it to Despero, where he is engulfed by the metal like T-1000 from Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Rangor is exploded. Thanagar is destroyed. Not sure if completely, but a pretty big part of it. And Despero is now a winged demon-looking beast called Eternal. Is that his name now, or is he just saying he's eternal?
I think he's just like, I am eternal now, you know. Like,
See, the way he said it, I was like, is he? I didn't know if because he's like a newer being, maybe if he renamed himself or what.
Like Onslaught.
But yeah, so
he's going to give himself a cool nickname.
So he turns into this winged demon and he just says, I am now eternal. So Hawkman says a quick prayer for his people, then plans to head to Ran to whoop some demon butt. End of issue.
He's doing his own thing, see?
Yep. So,
Whatever. I'll do what I want.
Do what I want.
I gave it a high...
Like a spider monkey. Sorry.
Go ahead, guys.
Thumbs up, knuckle bump. Boom.
All right.
I'm sorry, did we interrupt you?
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. We don't interrupt each other on the show.
Never.
Never happens. So
I saw a squirrel once.
Oh my god.
Was it in the issue of Nightwing?
Oh!
No, but it was in
Thumbs up, knuckle bump
Justice
for
League
Josh.
number 12. No, not.
All right. So,
Albuquerque.
Okay.
I knew
all right,
someone
all
was going
right,
to do
all
it.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so I gave it a high blessing. High blessing. It was a good read. The story is really developing, and the action is staying pretty consistent. The art was really good, and this villain has shown himself to be quite the psycho. The story got a bit wordy at parts, but was a quick read at other parts, so I thought it was a pretty good balance. I mean, if you're going to go text heavy, it's cool to give some panels you can just kind of flip through.
Yeah.
I really struggled to follow the time frame on this one, though. The then versus now. Hawkman and Adam are overlooking Despero at the beginning when he's building this huge Zeta portal on Ron. So they know he's on Ron. They're there overlooking it. And then it appears that it starts in the now. But then the story at one point jumps to then. And that's when Adam and Hawkman, wow, blank there. They go to Despero's home planet. That's when they find out that all the people there are gone. Like, Despero kills, like, the 6 elders of that world and takes everybody with him. And so the way it kind of jumped around, like, I was really struggling to kind of piece it together there at the end when it all, like, kind of played out. So, let's see here. Because at the end, when Hawkman says his little prayer for his people, you know, it's kind of interesting because you get a little inside glimpse of Hawkman. You find out that he is somewhat religious. He somewhat believes in something. He says a prayer for, like, his people or anybody who, you know, got killed or whatever. But they're on the ship there at the end. He says that prayer, and then he just gets fired up and says, we're going right to Ron to fight him, basically.
I'm going to put his head on a spike.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true Hawkman fashion, just like he gets all sentimental and then just he punches right through the computer,
I
too.
love Hawkman in this.
So, like...
Yeah.
Hawkman is... I have never liked Hawkman until this. I mean, he's been okay, but I mean...
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was like one of the... I mean, it didn't ruin the story by any means, but that's one thing that I kind of find unfortunate is when you finish an issue and it's, like, good, but you're just, like... You don't understand who's where.
The
and
time events,
and just it gets confusing at times, and that could just be a little more clear. I think it would, you know...
This is number
Just
3,
add to
right?
it. Number 4.
4. This whole story has been plagued by that, though.
Yeah.
This run.
There's been a lot of jumping around, and it
Yeah.
creates
Very
some
much.
pacing issues.
Yeah.
What did you think of the panel layout in this?
I liked it.
Because there were some really interesting choices for panel layouts. I mean, there was one where it was like just 2 circles at the bottom of the page, and one was Hawkman and one was Adam, you know? Really, really weird panel layout, but I kind of enjoyed it. But
I mean, like, for the most part, I thought the panels weren't too hard to follow. So, like, now that you say that, I'm looking at it as Brad's kind of flipping through it. But, I mean, some of the artwork was good. But, yeah, I mean, I didn't think the panel layout was, like, horrible by any means.
I loved it. I thought it was just interesting enough that you almost didn't notice it when you were reading it, which
Right.
that's kind of like the typography. Like if a letterer in a comic book, if you never notice their work, then they did a fantastic job. Same with panel layout. If you never notice it, the only reason I notice it is because like I make art and I've attempted to make a comic book before. So,
Right,
but
right.
like I mean it's so clean that like your eye just flows through it really well. So I mean I like that aspect of it a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, overall, I thought it was good.
What did you rate it?
High
Blessing. Yeah, you said high blessing.
Blessing, yeah.
Who else read this?
I
Did
did.
anyone else have a rating for it?
I'd give it a blessing too. I don't know. I don't think I really rated it when I was read it because I like Josh. It just jumps so much. But Hawkman is freaking badass at this.
Yeah,
He
he's
is,
just
yeah.
a beast, man. He's a beast of a man.
And this whole series he has, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we all know he's gonna die.
Now, is his
Yeah.
are his wings nth metal? Because I noticed some Thanagarians have very clearly metal, sharp wings, but his look like feathery.
Feathers,
yeah.
But when Adam's talking about how, or whoever, I think it was Adam talking to him, saying that Despero wants the nth metal, he's like grabbing his wings or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I was just like, is it? I don't know. It's weird.
It's so weird. I think you need to have a Hawkman expert talk to us about that one.
Another thing that's weird is having a book called Justice League that only talks about Amanda Waller and has no members of the Justice League whatsoever. Let's talk about that a little bit, Travis.
Justice League number 12, Maxwell Lord tie-in to JLA versus the Suicide Squad.
Maxwell Lord Rebirth #1 is what they called it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
which I thought was very strange. but
Yeah.
I think the story continues in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this book is set to take place prior to JLA versus Suicide Squad #1. Maxwell Lord has been apprehended by Deadshot and Amanda Waller. Amanda interrogates Maxwell Lord at Task Force X Black Site in Cicero, Illinois. The issue is basically a backstory about Maxwell Lord and his rise and fall from power, while Amanda narrates the entire story. We find out that that his father was a businessman who cut corners on a pharmaceutical that he sold that caused cancer and killed people. After his father died when Max was a teen, his mother rose to the challenge of raising Max as a strong and independent person bent on absolute power without question. So we kind of see how his mentality as an adult has been formed. It's really actually kind of interesting. Fast forward a couple of years, and he was part of a group called Checkmate, where he discovers his abilities to control people. And I'll have to stop right there and say he doesn't technically control people. He explains a little further on in the issue. He's not controlling them. He's just allowing them to do what they already want to do.
Yeah, it's just like
He
super influential. Right?
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
Convincing people that it's okay.
Because I really noticed that reading through this in the way he talks to people when he's doing it. It's
He's
like
like,
it's
"You really
very
wanna-
encouraging.
You
as
want
he's saying
that
it.
piece of
Yeah,
cake. You
like,
deserve
I
that
didn't
piece
notice
of
that
cake,
before.
don't you?
It's
Yeah.
my cake. I'll eat it if I want.
Exactly.
Right,
See,
right.
but that's kind of weird because in the very first issue of Justice League versus Suicide Squad, he gets two guys to shoot each other. So it's like you want to kill each other. I wonder if
Maybe they did. You
yeah,
didn't
maybe
know.
they just really
Yeah.
didn't like each other.
It's almost kind of
that's
like
interesting.
he does it in a very
Yes.
Jedi mind trick type of
Maniacal
way.
Yeah,
It is
Jedi
not the
mind
Jedi
trick.
mind trick, yeah.
Cool.
So using this ability, he kills his teammate or superior to allow him to rise to power in the organization. Moving forward in time, we get to witness the first interaction between Max and the Wall. This takes place during the rise of Apocalypse on Earth from the New 52 era. Needless to say, these two don't get along, and there was a massive power struggle. The unstoppable force of Lord versus the immovable object of the Wall. During this interaction,
it.
right? I took like 5 minutes to write that.
That
I
was
loved it.
awesome.
Yep. I was
I've
actually
heard
very
better.
pleased. Oh, dang.
Sorry,
Why did I
had to
not
zing you
expect
once.
that? During this interaction, the JLA rises to power, stopping all hopes of Max becoming whatever he wanted to be. Back in the present, Waller starts threatening Lord, but little does she know that he purposely wanted to be captured by her so that he could use his little gift on her to find out where the lost prisoners were kept. These lost prisoners are Lobo and the rest of the gang from the JLA versus the Suicide Squad, so all those little people in the back. We also find out that Max is looking for something else called the Item, buried in the bowels of Belle Rev Prison. But before we can find out what it is, the wall snaps out of Lord's control and attacks him. Using his gift again, he escapes, but only to lament that Waller was able to break from his influence, and nobody has ever done that before.
And I love that.
There are so many... Okay, first, art was good. Not great.
But good.
Not bad. Good.
Yep.
Great layout, I thought.
Yep.
I love the fact that the wall was narrating the entire story, giving us like a true like Law and Order, interrogation type thing.
Yeah.
I really liked that a lot. It was very text heavy, or narrative heavy.
Yeah.
But it worked well for this story.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much them two having a conversation.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst narrative-heavy book of the week, but it was still, yes.
But I found it interesting.
Yes.
The dialogue was very good.
I did too.
And very
It
interesting.
was captivating, yeah.
I literally did not rate this book. I don't know why. I just didn't write down a rating. I would have to say high blessing, low holy.
Yeah.
Just because it's not fantastic, but it was a really good book.
I think I would say exactly what you would say. High blessing, low holy. Yeah. It's not great, but it's better than good,
I concur.
I took several different snapshots of panels and sent them to you in text messages
and actually,
that I loved.
It was really funny because you sent me a picture of that and I didn't make the connection, but on Tuesday's episode, Justin pointed out the fact where Amanda Waller knocks out Max Lord, and Deadshot's like, "You want me to put a bullet in his head?" And she's
You want
like,
me to put one behind his ear?
Yeah. And she's like, "No, Deadshot, secure him. I want Mr. Lord to learn the consequences of questioning my control."
Yes, that is
It's
so...
just like such an Amanda Waller moment, It's so great.
And there were just so many others throughout. Just do yourself a favor, read this one, people.
Yep.
Yeah, so the only other thing that I can say that I liked or questioned was the whole interaction with Checkmate and his background there. I still don't fully understand Checkmate. I mean, I kind of do,
We
but I
talked
don't.
about that on our Sunday school a little bit, but
A little
I
bit,
don't have a huge knowledge of it.
Yeah, it's
I
just
didn't realize
like this,
it was over such a chunk of time. He
Yeah.
climbed his way up over 10 years with
Yeah.
Checkmate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah.
so
Cool.
there you go.
I gave this one a high holy,
Ooh.
and this was a big part of my change with Waller.
Yeah.
Because of this trade-off right here. You can, and this is why I really like the art in this book too.
That was
'Cause you
a
can
fantastic
you can
page.
see that she immediately knew what was going on, but she couldn't stop it for a second.
Yeah.
And she had no control for that moment, but then she got it back and fought it. And like I said, just the dialogue just really drew me in on this book, just because it was interesting just listening to these two powerful people kind of just talk it out. It was fascinating.
And it
really good
wasn't
read.
fantastically deep narrative either, but the page I think right after the one you're showing, maybe it was before, but he says something to her like, "Oh, you don't burn all those calories by questioning me."
Yes.
He did a fat joke in the middle of.
Come, Amanda,
Oh, man,
you didn't
that's
gain all that weight by burning this many calories at every inquiry. Why the big show?
Yeah.
What are you getting at?
Yeah. I like it.
You.
Just taunting her. I mean, she's not a lady you want to taunt.
Very cool. So we got one last review left, and it's actually one of my favorite books of this week, I think, or it's been a standout for me. Brad, you're going to tell us a little bit about Ollie.
Yes, I am. Okay, so Green Arrow Emerald Outlaw Part 3, issue number 14, written by Benjamin Percy, and I forgot to write down the art by. Can you grab that real quick, somebody?
Yeah, I'll grab it. Just go ahead and keep talking.
Okay.
I'll mention it.
Okay, start off this issue with the Black Canary disguised as a police officer breaking into the police evidence to get one of the arrows that the imposter has been using to frame the Green Arrow. As she is trying to make her way out with the prize, she ends up getting to drive the captain to the crime scene of the Hawks Arena, where the Green Arrow apparently has killed Cy Sampson, the star quarterback.
Which is right where we find out that the artwork is by Eleonora Carlini, Carlos Rodriguez, and Gus Vasquez.
Thank you.
And
Preacher.
Hi-Fi.
Yep.
Oh, and Hi-Fi did the color, yep. Good call, Trev.
So, Green Arrow is pleading his case to an angry mob of sports fans. Just when he feels that all hope is lost, he catches the glimpse of the imposter Archer. The two are trading arrow shots momentarily, while people are confused that the Green Arrow could be innocent. This imposter Archer ends up gloating about taking a few more lives, including half of the Seattle Hawks that confront him. The imposter starts to gloat some more, saying that the Green Arrow will be blamed for all the killings. The two end up on the roof, and gentlemen, any ideas on who this imposter is?
Well, I know who this imposter is.
I mean,
I read it. So
okay. Josh, did you read it?
As I read through it, I thought
Okay.
it was going to be Tommy.
Yeah,
I'll be
it's-
honest. I thought it was going to be Tommy.
Yeah, Malcolm Merlin.
It's Malcolm.
Malcolm Merlin, Tommy's father. The police catch up with... Sorry, we had to do a selfie. The police catch up with the
Travis,
two...
you just had to take a selfie, didn't you?
You know, I
that
think we
good.
should do that every week. I think
Yeah.
we need definitely need to post those up on the webpage.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so the police catch up with the two, and Canary gives her best canary cry, but the Dark Archer does get away. In doing so, Green Arrow does take a arrow to the shoulder to save the police captain's life.
And to prove his innocence.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think that's kind of proven when they
swear
saw
I'm
the Dark
innocent.
Archer. So the next issue is titled Broken Arrow. So this was a fast-paced, great dialogue, great art, great continuation of the story, furthering everything along. I love the reveal, although we kind of saw it coming. This is by far one of the best titles in Rebirth, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's in my top 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this, like, I got through this week, and, like, this issue was awesome. I
Yeah.
agree with everything you just said. I thought it was a really good read.
The last few issues have been really good.
Yeah, man.
Emerald Outlaw has been a good story arc.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do further on. I mean, I want to see more.
Yeah, Malcolm, too. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Awesome.
Yep.
What did you rate it?
I rated this as a high holy.
Awesome. And if you want to continue listening to us talk about Green Arrow, we are going to continue the conversation and talk about the relevance of that character in modern day society. Just the relevance of, like, a guy running around dressed as Robin Hood with a bow and arrow doing vigilante work. We're going to talk about that ad nauseum for about 30
Nice word.
Yeah, for about 30 minutes or so. But to get access to that show, you actually have to donate at least $1 per month to us, and it's an exclusive weekly show called Sunday School, where we elaborate on one of the characters in the books that week. So it's just $1 per month minimum. If you decide to donate more, there are rewards for that. And like I said earlier, the next person to donate to our Patreon page gets a free copy of Captain Atom Armageddon, the graphic novel, which is one of my favorite graphic novels from DC. It's just a weird off story that's very actually relevant to what we're reading in Rebirth right now. So cool. Yeah, and I will let you guys know if you want to reach me at all. You can do so at nerdchurchradio@gmail.com. Brad, where can we... Oh, and you can find us on social media at nerdchurchradio everywhere. Brad, where can we find you?
Twitter, Bradley, BREDLEY _Butin, BUTIN.
What does that look for, Brad? You want to fight about it? What does that look for?
Look at me when I'm talking to you, Josh. That's right.
Josh, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Facefur. That's FACEFURRR.
And Travis.
You can find me at Twitter at TritonTR, TRITONTR.
Josh,
Awesome.
are you insinuating the FU in that face fur?
No.
Okay,
You
just
got
checking.
nothing but love,
Alright.
Brad.
So, I am going to sign us off here. I will say peace be with you.
And also with you.
Peace out, planet Earth.
Bye, everybody.
Gotta do something about that. No.
No, I can see it now. In 6 months, we're going to have a merch shirt that says, bye, everybody.
The pun master goes to just buy everyone.
Bye.